Ladies and gentlemen, it feels like a rather late welcome to all the rounds action here for SSA Open 5, but we got to skip the double elims beforehand due to our top 8 finish. What an experience that was. The boys finally getting to strut their stuff all over on the mainstream. That was, unfortunately, without myself, Sir Pixis, but certainly for featured the likes of my co-caster Rhino.
Yeah, the foolish people on mainstream deciding to give me the cast for rounds versus Pioneers on day one. But it was a lot of fun, and a lot of lessons were learned, certainly by this young roster of rounds. But we now move in straight into Swiss. You'll notice there was no stream yesterday, which means we didn't have to qualify through the double elimination bracket. We go straight into the Swiss stage, which is absolutely huge. First time that we've had this luxury in SSA, and hopefully we'll have it many more times to come.
Absolutely, long may it continue. I was really impressed actually with how they did play in that last open. There were definitely times during that GSL where I think we can fairly say, Rhino, they didn't look like they were playing the best, but their ramp up potential and how they were able to turn around how that performance started was what really opened up my eyes there for the team, because that's not necessarily been a recurring pattern for them. We'd like to see them in that bit of momentum. When they get there, they usually burn out quite quickly, but then you've got the likes of Spooky and Gross Look behind them that really locked in for that one and introduced what we're going to call HFM, or as that is called, Rhino?
The have fun meta, and it was very
He's been doing his homework
in that game against Pioneers last week now. So let's take a look at some of the action from that game against the I think we can still call them the second best in the region. They've definitely had a little bit of a slump recently. We saw it on the mainstream last week as well, where Pioneers weren't playing at the top level that they felt like they should be or wanted to be. Definitely not in that grand final, goodness me, Pegasus. But against Rounds, it was a very competitive matchup, and Rounds definitely held their side of the bargain.
Yeah, they certainly did. You'll see, though, there were a few double commits that did sneak their way into the game, and against a team like Pioneers, we've seen it many times before. They are really tough to face, but once they found themselves in that offensive flow, that's where they're most comfortable on the pitch. You really start to see them shine. I mean, Marzi, it's another ground play 50-50. We see that all the time here on the stages before top 8, and it was a very happy sight to see that could continue once they got into those deeper stages. The pressure is that bit higher. You're playing for even more RLCS points on the line, but ultimately Pioneers are Pioneers, and Rounds were just here to get a bit of experience, and I believe that they truly did. They took the most out of this opportunity, and that has me confident that that can definitely continue heading into this open, and of course the final one that's going to be of the season right afterwards.
Yeah, and from memory as well, it's worth mentioning that Rounds were the only team to take a single game off of Pioneers until the grand final on championship weekend, which is another feather in their cap. And it was a convincing game as well. It was 3-0. You saw the highlights just a moment ago. Things then, started to move forwards for Rounds. They started to find their form, but as always with Pioneers, as I mentioned on the mainstream last week, they just have that X factor. They have those players who can pull something from absolutely nothing. They are some of the best players in the region for a reason. To Die For and Sweaty have been named that for a long time. And Luis P, of course, now he's in SSA, also top draw. So not really a concern for Rounds to lose that game. It was unfortunate seeding that we were in that position in the first place. But now that means we have better seeding going into Swiss.
Very happy that that is finally the case here for Rounds. That should, of course, give us that technically harder first matchup, right? At least we're in the upper stages of it still, but Ben is going to be our opponents for this matchup. You see the likes of Unity, you see even the Punishers, Deathcloud, Crow's 5 Fears, Rising Esports, all mentioned in this Swiss stage. So despite us getting that better seeding, and that should make the matchups at least a bit easier, the pool of teams that we potentially have to face, as per usual, Rhino, I'd say is the tough route for two groups.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, this group. Now, don't get it twisted. There are some big names over in Group B as well, right? You've got Pioneers, Astronics, Synthesis, Marine Region, LFO are over there, Akimbo, The Wave, White Rabbit. They've got their own problems going on, all right? Look, SSA is a region where kind of anybody from arguably 6th down could be anybody else in that bracket, and you could even argue up to kind of 4th down to, and it's top 16, top 17. Can be anybody else on any given day, which is what makes every bracket in SSA feel much bigger, because you see these names that you've played against in Swiss for series and seasons, and you're like, oh god, that looks like a tough bracket. You look on the other side, you go, oh, that's a tough bracket. SSA is here right now.
Well, you want to talk about familiarity? Let's have a look at these two rosters. 6 players that should be very recognizable to anyone that's been involved with SSA for any time. Now, of course, we've got Rounds' very own of Marzi, Renshiro, and Onozuma. But over on man, we got Zeph, Lixer, and Ram rounding off the roster, which I think is a pretty interesting formation there. I really like Lixer and how he plays in SSA. He's definitely a player that has found a way to thrive here. Zeph and Ram are 2 very interesting teammates for him. Ram has been here for quite some time. Zeph's a little bit more recent, but they can still pull off these really high performances. They can create a shock, certainly in a Swiss bracket, but deeper down the lines, this is a team for me that does lose a little bit of steam.
Yeah, it's a tough one to really place, this roster. And we've played Lixer's teammates before. We've played, Lixer in the previous Swiss. So we know what he's going to be able to bring, the Portuguese man. But Ram and Zeph coming in now to try and bolster out this roster. As I say, I just don't really know where I sit with it. I'm going to need to see it in the server. From our perspective, from the looks of Rounds, I definitely don't think it's something that Rounds are going to be too concerned about looking across from them. But they need to make sure they are on from minute 1. They need to make sure game 1 is confident and they really feel that momentum starting to build, because we know all too well that if Rounds do get that momentum moving forwards, then they are very difficult to beat.
And as per usual, it's going to be a lot of focus here on the 2 imports, Lixer and Renshiro. Going to be those 2 names. Renshiro still playing for those ENC spots, was able to pick up a lot of points for his own nation in the last Open. He believes that they're currently 21st in that range to make it there. So it's going to be close, but it all comes down to this first round. Rounds famously making their way to round 5, but we've made that top 8 now. We have seen the African gaming mainstream. Let's make our deserved return.
Big opportunity for Rounds to just plant their flag early. Let people know what's going on today, and Rounds take to the field for the first time in Open 5. They have Ho Ben to deal with. Marzi going to pick this one off the backboard, looking to go the distance. Has help from Onozuma. No boost on Onozuma though, so they will just leave this one. Lixer trying to take it through. Leaves it, now takes the shot, but a double commit on the goal line isn't good, but the save is.
I like that Ram, calling himself Mike Tyson. Could be one strike to get this game started. Onozuma though, take it over 1. Ram already getting that block off Lixer. Let's look for options inside, has none, but sees that big boost and that free sidewall calling for him. Gap was closed down quickly. And Rounds, now with that favourable seeding, if they go up into that second round, we're not guaranteed to play the likes. In fact, it's essentially impossible that we'll play the likes of 5 Fears there. So you really do hope that this is going to be one of those days where they can cash in on that seeding they haven't had for the entire season.
Yeah, for sure. Don't get it wrong. It will be a difficult game in the next round. You win a game, games get harder. You lose a game, games get easier. That's the way that Swiss is meant to work. But that being said, as you rightly say, they will be the highest seed going into the next game. That is guaranteed if they are to win this one. And at the moment, just over a minute played, I think both teams have had sights of goal. There's another one, top left corner. Marzi trying to take advantage. Third man pressed very high for Rounds. Defense now needs to come through. Marzi thought about turning. Does this more sensible thing of moving back. He still might not be back in time. Luckily, the shot is off target.
Ram up high now to Renshiro. Gets that first block. Lixer has got space and time of his own. Plenty of boost as well to drag the entire way. Onozuma gets that block off though. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the action, the first 2 minutes. 4 open 5 for rounds. Ben got to get in the RLCS spirit last night to qualify themselves to this spot. Of course, faced some shortcomings to end up in the lower side of the Swiss stage. But we know that some teams kick into gear once they've had that bit of struggle, and how some can certainly be slow starters, and rounds, unfortunately, have been of that title in the past, but so far, not too much bad to say about them. It just gets better. Onozuma finds the score sheets.
Yeah, as soon as Renshiro gets this pass into the middle, you're like, please someone be there to finish the job. And Onozuma right there on the scene. Bottom right-hand corner, rounds lead as we are just about to approach that halfway mark. Now, the big thing with rounds is always, please make sure we don't lose that goal immediately off the kickoff. That is a problem that we've had quite a few times. Call it and it shall arrive. And it's 1-1.
And Zeph in that corner, does so well to get it off that ceiling. You know how much I love those passes. I point them out just about every single time they happen. And rounds were playing towards that back post, and you can see why at the tight angle that Zeph was attacking at it with. But now, quicker to kick off. Usually those have gone against us. Had a chance there, though, to steal the lead back straight away. Lixa is blocked off there by Renshiro. Onozuma's just going to wait down deep. No Zeph is going to beat him for that touch. Gets the second, too high of a target, but perhaps still had faith in the play. Is going to bail. Zeph off the ceiling. Has the reset. Could go all the way. Onozuma. He's usually the one on the other end of those types of shots.
He certainly is normally, but this time makes a good save, gets a good hand up. Now he might get the chance to run the field. Has the ball on the right-hand side. Gets a really nice 50, so Renshiro can follow through. The double from Renshiro. No, it gets cut off right at the first moment. Almost 2-1 to rounds. You see Renshiro in that position. You just think he's going to score because we've seen him do it so many times before. Ben knew that as well. They make the save. Onozuma, backboard, triple, back to Marzi. Can't get past.
Lixa will leave this one out to Renshiro. Has plenty of time. Zef's on 0. Wants to sneak it under. Onozuma's waiting towards the left-hand side. Crossbar hit. And it is going to be all about this follow-up now. Onozuma has his work cut out for him. The musty flick looks good, but Zef anticipated that was going to be used. Ends up wiping out his own teammate. Tyson's going for the punch. But Marzi avoids. Lixa snipes that top corner. And we said the import was going to be the real one to make the impact for this team. That's not an easy shot to make, but of course it's his job to take.
It's good work from Marzi downfield, you have to say, to push that into the corner. It is meant to be safe. He then tries to follow through, get that 50. Again, you can understand that logic because you believe that there should be a player behind you after that sharp rotation from rounds. Unfortunately, there isn't one ready to make the save, and rounds go 2-1 down in the first game of this new open, and it might get worse for them. Ben with an opportunity. Dunked by Onozuma. He won't get the bump either, but Renshiro and Marzi both up. Renshiro takes charge. Needs to get this ball down the other end of the field, though. They're not going to be able to do so.
Back onto Onozuma. Lixa sends this one out right to Ram, but Renshiro had an opportunity to take it out. The bumper's intelligence. Marzi stopped here by Tyson. Lixa will take it high. Onozuma's not going to get that bump. Lixa will go alone. And that was an unfortunate way to concede. All the eggs put in the basket off that bump. Renshiro anticipated that would land. I thought it was going to land there. I know there was a connection as well. It just wasn't enough. So that's just conceded away the position too simply for Lixa. And now rounds don't have much time to get themselves back in this opener.
No, but just an extra goal would actually be really beneficial for rounds. Feel like I'm calling things and they're actually happening, which doesn't happen very often for a while. Called the equalizer off the kickoff earlier, and now I've just called another goal. Rounds suddenly back within 1, and that's a nice one. Renshiro around that right-hand side gets that pass off the backboard. Marzi gets over the top of the ball, dunks it down under the crossbar. Is there maybe one more to make it an interesting end to game 1?
Oh, that's hard for Renshiro, though, and You just saw the way it bounced off his car, that he was not going to be able to maintain possession, but that is such a tough position to be in. Just happens to 50-50 on that awkward area of the car, Rhino, when it's just the center of the side.
Yeah.
It pops straight up every single moment. You want it more at the front, more at the back, so you can at least commit to the reverse or the accelerate. None will fall their way. 4 rounds. But you can feel them starting to feel the pace of the game here. Ben are by no means an easy first game, but that's what happens when you get good seeding. You get the harder matchup for the sake of the BU system.
Certainly, and Ben proving to be a very tricky matchup. Lixer having one hell of a game. 3 goals from 9 shots. And
wow.
Yeah, I mean, 13 shots on the side of Ben, 10 shots on the side of Rounds. That's not outrageously disproportionate, but what is disproportionate is the way that Ben were able to take advantage of more of their opportunities. They were a little bit more clinical, and it showed itself in that final goal by Lixer, where he finds the bottom left-hand corner. Anywhere else in the goal, and it's going to be a relatively easy save for the player coming back across the goal line, but he manages to find that pixel-perfect finish, and Rounds needs to be ready for that.
He was unbelievable. I mean, a hat-trick to his name there, and you talk about that bottom corner snipe. I don't even think that was his best goal of the game.
No.
I think of that top corner clanger from the corner. That was a ridiculous one to find the back of the net, and it's an immediate warning shot over to Rounds that says you need to be prepared in this defense. It doesn't matter if a position looks like it's dead for the attack or still has, more simmering in the pot to go through. They will pick it out at any time. All of a sudden, there's a splash of oil on your face and you're going to have to deal with the burns.
Well, 5 fresh minutes on the clock then. And once again, Rounds may be getting caught out by a kickoff strategy. No, not this time. They're able to make it back on Azuma. Doesn't get the second touch, but Marzi might be given an opportunity. Off the post, off the crossbar. The 4th man coming through for Ben early on in game 2.
There's 2 really intimidating chances for Rounds, and Onizuma could add another. Bills away, Renshiro! How's that for a bottom corner strike?
Yeah, that'll do. Onizuma taking this one through, wondering whether he kind of needs to get back to the ball and get a second touch. Renshiro makes sure to let him know that that's not going to be the case. Let that ball drop. I've got the jump on the defense. He buries it in the bottom corner. The captain once again proving too much for the opposition, but hang on a moment, almost an own goal. Great save down to his right by who? Renshiro.
Back down to Marzi. Onizuma for a second there, tempted fate with his turn inside. But this time, though, can just maintain his boost. He's going to have to challenge to prevent the offense from Ben. Zepho keeps it alive. There is a clearance out. Someone going by a different name on the pitch. I believe they are. Hectic for Marzi. He's changed his name again, Rhino. He just cannot help himself.
He can't. Yeah, Rounds Hectic. But, oh my goodness. That was a real opportunity to get Ben back level. He didn't take it. Now Lixer, Portuguese player, trying to move down the field. Marzi pushes him to the side. Lixer goes over the top again. Has he got a teammate? He does. Backboard hit. Onizuma misses. And that's going to be a freebie. Mike Tyson, a.k.a. Ram, gets the equaliser.
It's a really well-formed attack overall from Ben. One mistake happened. It was Onizuma, unfortunately, just not able to read that back wall. And it's such a tough position to defend when they are just hammering the back wall every single time that they have the opportunity to do so. Because even at the highest level, you can make a mistake on those reads. When Shiro will show them how it's done. This time, crossbar hit, but Onizuma will finish the job. That's a backboard he can read.
Certainly is. Great work. Onizuma, bottom left-hand corner. That corner is proving to be fruitful right now for the Round side. Doing a great job with it. So, 3 minutes 28 still to play, and Rounds need to get this extra goal. There's a bump onto Onizuma, though, which means the ball just takes an extra nick. Backboard again. Zeph will clear it away. And now Renshiro trying to cut them off at the pass. Does really well. Don't think he got the boost, though, so might give it over to Ben. Now Onizuma picks it up. Ball into the middle. It's going to be Heptic, a.k.a. Marzi, to push that forwards. 3 minutes to go. Still 2-1 to Rounds for the moment.
Back on Renshiro. Saw space on the back wall again. Ben haven't been covering it, and Rounds have already sent a few feelers out there to see if they can get away with it, and so far Ben haven't noticed that. With Mike Tyson's experience, you'd think he'd notice these light jabs, but it's back to Marzi. And you already see Onizuma stepping forward, going for those bumps despite the low boost in chat. Ram will just send it over. Back wall is here. I thought that one was on target. Marzi, though, clears that one out of danger.
And we can say this because we're not on their team stream. Ram should have equalized right there. That is one of the most egregious misses that I'll see in a long time. Like, the demos happened on the third man. You know the other two men are down by the goal line. All you've got to do is hit the target in that position. That's a bronze level shot, I would suggest. And he doesn't hit it. Like, there's no pace in the play either. You've got time to be able to take a moment. It doesn't need to be the most powerful shot in the world. It just goes by. They might make up for it here and do. Woo! Zeph, top right-hand corner. They do get their equalizer. But after just a complete and utter miss.
Righto. Just a word of advice for you. Do not watch a single Diaz game in North America. You would have pulled your back out during that last open, my goodness. But Renshiro will hold this one on his own lines, flips it high. Going to be no follow-up from him. Lixer does well to get a touch. I'll keep it close. No reset there, though. Rounds played as if it did exist. Seth looking for the sidewall. Won't go on target. It's enough for a second touch, but Marzi make sure to cut the space quickly. Renshiro 50's over. Goes to Zeph with confidence. Lixer sees an option underneath him, but it does reach. No one's up to challenge. And a lot of respect, a lot of space has been given to Ben in forming this attack. It's a lot of what we used to call back in the day goal line and Kumbaya. But Lixer, despite the three-man wall, finds a crack in the stone.
That is a very nice shot from Lixer. I mean, I don't think anybody can blame Rounds for not quite getting in front of that ball. The problem that we've got at this particular moment is, you're absolutely right. That's going to be a goal from Renshiro. That's a freebie. But the way that Rounds are approaching this game, they are giving a lot of space, a lot of credit to Ben. And when we have seen Rounds performing at their best, they've been shutting that space down. They've been getting in the face of the opposition. They've been taking really early challenges that the opposition simply don't expect and getting really good positioning off the back of it. Rounds haven't been doing that so far in this series. I'd like to see that change moving forward.
Lexer looking to make a change in this final minute. Still a chance that we go to overtime, but regulation still has a bit more to give. Marzi has more to show. Lixer immediately throws him back behind the curtain. Ram down to Renshiro. Keeps it close enough. He is going to get a follow-up touch. Not much boost in the tank, and he has given up his flip there. I hope Ben with the pinch. We did concede a pinch in the last open, and it did decide a game. Not going to happen this time. Onizuma off that back wall. Doesn't get a second read, but this is falling into a dangerous position. Zeph has to get this one out. This is looking like one that Rounds could pounce on, but it's a really intricate attack made a lot more simple with that miss coming out. And Shira has an angle, but Lixer makes sure to cover it. 10 seconds still to go. A chance for that clock to start going up, but Marzi doesn't want to settle for less. Flip resets his way through, gets himself a bump. It's off that back wall yet again. I said that was the danger area, but Ram looks for two touches. Doesn't get this one off the floor. Surprise, but the game hasn't been paused. Marzi, up to him whether this game continues or not. He decides he's going to go for the showmanship. 0 seconds, as does Renshiro, but the touch isn't good enough. We go to OT.
Here we go then, 0 seconds. Rounds, not the best history on overtimes, I think it's fair to say. We'll see if that can change in this open now, but that's a outright whiff coming through from Marzi. Touch from Zeph as he tries to go back, but he doesn't have any boost to work with. Still wins the 50. Renshiro is the last man back. Had to get something on that ball and does. Now plays it over to the left-hand side, looking to put it middle, but Ram will send it away and get beyond the second challenge as well.
Marzi out to Renshiro. Great pass across all three men. Shot on target, straight down the centre. Is it going to test Lixer? And Shiro, oh, that's a lovely fake. Gets the boost as well for his troubles. And will allow Onizuma to just take that corner space. And now he's looking very dangerous on that follow-up. If Onizuma can make some magic happen, we know he's a magic man on the team. It's going to be his fellow Reunion A. Just to buy some time for those very same plays back into defense. Onizuma went for the aerial bump there for Renshiro. And I like when I see him in that creative moves. Sometimes it takes him a few games, not today.
Oh, yeah, no. He's definitely starting to get those little extra plays that teams won't be expecting from him. Which is nice to see if you are of a round's persuasion. Lixer doesn't get the pinch. It's a double whiff in the middle. So now Marzi can be given the ball, but he has used all of his boost there. And Shiro doesn't really win that 50. And that's an extra touch from Zeph as well. But back first is Marzi. Trying to get the better of Lixer, can't do so. Ball goes over the top into the corner. It's a very messy overtime so far from both sides. Onizuma trying to clean things up a little bit. Doesn't get the bump he was looking for. But real opportunities starting to form. And actually down the other end, Zeph gets an extra touch on Ozuma's back.
And if Ho Ben are able to pick up this game, they put themselves on match point. Rounds will need to reverse sweep of the first series of the day. And sacrifice as well. They're seeding alongside it. It's only relevant for your first 2 rounds of the day. Ram isn't able to get that touch. Onizuma just has to play for that 50. And Ram on a half turn tries to bring the ball back forward. Marzi doesn't let it happen. It's back to that same area though. There's no pesky blue card to stop it. The follow-up touch is just not good enough for my liking. The ground play's been dangerous from Lixer in the game previous. Won't decide to play now, but low shot saved by Renshiro. Numbers required. He reaches it. It's Marzi this time. Onizuma now called to action. It's 3 players that have been left bruised and beaten on their own lines. The boost counts are low, but somehow they scramble out to temporary safety.
It's the kind of defending that Grossloop is not going to be especially proud of, but it is going to work. And Renshiro is going to make that work down the other end. Onizuma wins a 50. Renshiro pops it high, and he's always dangerous in these positions. Reset flick. Thank you very much. 3 minutes of OT. Rounds bring the series to 1-1.
That's got me licking my lips. I'm ready. I'm so ready, Rhino, for this version of rounds. Sure, they had a little bit of a slow game 1. They had a game 2 that went either way. We've got to give credit to Ho Ben. This is not an easy team in the first round. This is the BU system. If you're the top 4 team, you're going to get the top 4 team in lowers, and this is a stacked region nowadays. It extends past the top 16 teams now, and rounds have been able to respond. You spoke about how they don't have the amazing record in those overtimes and how important these first 2 rounds are to actually make use of that good seeding they earned themselves in that last open. They were able to cash in. Great signs. Onuzuma's looking creative. Marzi's looking solid. Renshiro defensively has looked excellent. Haven't seen much from him offensively until the later stages of that second game. But now it feels like those puzzle pieces are starting to click together. Very happy man right now.
Does feel that way. It really does. And again, we've been... Maybe it's been argued against our rounds team stream that we've been somewhat negative on some of the Swiss stages up to this point in the season.
We.
All right, yeah, we is not the point. I've been very negative at a certain point. But I don't think there's too much to be negative about. The goals that are being scored against us at this particular moment by Ben are actually very high quality goals that would catch a lot of teams out at this level. And the goals that rounds are scoring are also of a similarly high quality. So that's great to see. It's worth mentioning that the reason that Ben are in the lower bracket from yesterday is because they lost in that upper bracket final to Looking for Organization, one of the best teams that are in SSA that you kind of look at and you go, well, if you lose to them, that makes sense. So Ben are going to feel a little bit aggrieved that they're even in this position in the first place. It's a difficult game for rounds because of that, but they are doing very well in this series. And now it's 1-1. Now we go to a best of 3 Pegasus. We're back underway in game 3.
You could say Ben are just so far invincible against the mortals of the region. LFO's not a bad loss. Five Fears is never a bad loss. Bro Crocos is never a bad loss. And we've definitely had a taste of that in recent opens, but now to get ourselves a better seeding so we don't have to play those teams in such vital spots. But Onizuma looks like he's up for the challenge today. Didn't have much boost of a tank, but somehow he's made that work. That is unbelievable efficiency.
Just about catching up to the ball in time to get the reset and find the flick. No one on Ben's defense was going to be expecting that one. And Rounds maybe, just maybe, feeling something a little bit different happening today. Onizuma, once again, clearing that ball a little bit boomy, but that's all right. Ram can only clear as far as Marzi. Pops it up high. Renshiro up to the ceiling, looking to follow through. It drops down right in front of net, but there's no one there to finish the job, and Lixer can bring away.
Onizuma gets 50. Knockouts again, though. He's just got a don't quit attitude today that I really like. Marzi gets that first charge. It's Onizuma, bottom corner. He is on fire, turning pennies to profits.
Took 7 or 8 minutes for him to get warmed up, but now Onizuma is firing on all cylinders. The first goal was special. The second one was placement. And with 4 minutes, 8 seconds, Rounds, for the first time in this series, have a 2-goal lead.
Hold on. You might just see one of the most generational hat tricks of all time if Onizuma is able to pick up another. Here he is, only 24 boosts. He did so much with less. Individual plays, cutting himself forward. Marzi will catch in the top right corner. Wants to play it back inside. Renshiro will be the one to turn. Onizuma is forced alone in his defensive third. Still takes the time to challenge in the corner. Teammates have been given all the opportunity to get behind him. And now Rounds are looking good positionally. Zeph will put it high. Marzi is never going to allow himself to be beaten to that ball. Renshiro wants it to the corner. Lixer had already anticipated that's the play. This is becoming a game of chess now in the early stages. Onozuma's got that bump again. Lands a demo in the corner. Zeph's wall dashing to try and get to safety, whereas Rounds looking a lot more cool, calm, collected. They've been stopped. Onizuma, why not? Oh my goodness.
Outrageous save. Outrageous save from Onizuma, how he was able to get a hand up to that. But this is what I was talking about. You see Onizuma there in that passage of play, taking those early 50s, making it difficult for the defense to really figure out where the space is on the field. That's a lovely pass. Renshiro fakes out the first, though, and will lose the opportunity. Marzi off the left-hand side will be sent clear as well. And Ram just gets that extra touch over the covering player. Lixer backboard, bringing in the third man. Backboard, double, triple, not on target, should be dealt with, and will be. And actually, Marzi might have an empty net to aim at, just doesn't really get enough power in it, and it's saved by Ben.
Onizuma, 2 swift touches, and he has looked incredible. Sidewall to defend, musty flick into the central space, no matter what. He's just found a way to get involved in the most flashy style possible. We'll look away for that one. We'll look away. Ram. Not going to pinch all the way. Onozuma's going to leave this one to Marzi. As long as he gets the boost for it. Goes out wide. Renshiro doesn't get the best. Balls there landing towards him. Onizuma thought the same. Thought it was going to be his opportunity to take over. That's the first real scary double commit we've seen so far from the team. And it isn't in one of those vital positions where you can get punished immediately. Instead, they've actually regained, got a few bumps of their own. They're happy to have the chaos here on the pitch. Renshiro simples it down with a quick 50-50 in the corner. Beats another, wants the third, not going to happen.
Onizuma trying to cause some problems, though. Ram sends it away only as far as Renshiro. Zeph is up, not a lot of boost in the tank. Marzi might be given a freebie here. No, the save on the goal line is enough. Onizuma not really ready for that, and Marzi moving back towards his own goal line. Does hit that, trying to recover the situation. Push it towards that left-hand wall. He does really well to maintain possession. Find a pass middle. Renshiro trying to take it around Zeph, but he does really well to recover as well. Now this is Renshiro. Gets stolen by Lixer, and with 60 seconds to go, Brown's still yet to concede in Game 3.
Lixer trying to create some cuts into the Rounds defense. It's just not happening for them at the moment. Haven't been able to string together those same passes they did before. The backboard's been well defended from Rounds. The counter-attacks have been slowed down quickly by midfield chances that Rounds have just thrown back at them. This hasn't been the same drop back and defend team that we saw in the past few games. They're looking confident. They're going to attack every single ball, and that has somewhat whiplashed the opponents a bit here, who have had to change their game plan against a team that has completely been able to find their own style.
Yeah, and that is not the greatest look at that moment from Onizuma, but he recovers and gets a demo. 10 seconds to go. Renshiro might want one for the road. It's not going to happen right there and then. Elixir goes by. Ram takes it through, cleared away by Marzi. Ball will drop any moment now. The result is already locked in. The most confident rounds have looked so far today in that game 3 brings them to series.
And it's not even close. That was a ridiculous performance from Rounds. Onizuma looked incredible. I mean, there were 2 goals for Rounds. They both came from him, and neither one of them was by any means an easy opportunity. He actually had only 2 shots in this game total. I want to know how much boost Onizuma had there for that first play, because to get the reset, still find a pop afterwards is crazy. That shot is one you practice in a training pack for 10 minutes and you maybe don't hit it as well as Onizuma did on limited boost in a professional RLCS Swiss stage match, with his one chance that came at him so fast there from Renshiro. Unbelievable. And now from Rounds looking like they were potentially going to have a rough first round for us here, Rhino, get to pick up some pace, and I'm pretty confident heading into this 4th game.
Yeah, I think the players will be as well. They've definitely started to feel a little bit better about themselves in the server now. They've got used to that environment that RLCS brings in Swiss, and now I would be relatively confident that Rounds will feel that they can close this out in 4. Whether their opponents believe that they can bring this one back into their favor is yet another question that will need to be answered in the next 5 minutes.
Zeph up fast. Renshiro is able to get there just to match him. Marzi uses reset just to recover. Renshiro gets a really solid 50. Zeph protects that backboard, looks to use another surface to his favor. That only leads out to Onizuma. And this is not a kid you want to see near the play at the moment. He's been... Oh, hold on, Zeph. That second touch. Is that on target? Not quite. We've seen 2 of those now from Ho-Ho Ben that have me rather blindsided. Marzi will go for the pop-up. Onizuma's not going to be close enough to take that one away, so instead it's just a bit of time delayed for Renshiro to get himself back. Marzi still somehow managing to maintain himself in a play with 2 crazy touches to keep this ball in the midfield. Renshiro's able to get another as well. And compared to last Open, we're just seeing 1 touch from the boys, and then they're able to squeeze out a bit of extra value. Whether that's Onizuma going for the demo and the recovery, which we did not see much from him last Open. He's done it every single time today. Or these extra touches from Marzi or Renshiro, they're looking like a lot more like a higher tier team in this region.
Yeah, they are. And this is Marzi now trying to show off some skills. Not going to happen on this occasion. Ram with the interception, and now Zeph pops that one off the backboard. No one goes up to the backboard ready to challenge, but I think that's more because they didn't need to rather than because they couldn't. And Onizuma, well, he certainly can. Off the backboard on the left-hand side. Good angle to find. Elixir not ready. Rounds 1 up.
There we go. Scoreline opened up, and it is that same player yet again. I don't have to say his name. You know his name. Say his name in chat, ladies and gentlemen, and hail what you are beholding. Renshiro delays his 50. Marzi can cut in. It's him again. It's him again.
Certainly is. Marzi off the left-hand side does really well to cut between 2. Zeph thought he was going to get a block on the play. Isn't going to. And Onizuma is 4th in 2 games. 2 in the previous, 2 in this one. Rounds back to a 2-goal lead. Cruising at the moment.
Onizuma on that corner. Demo will open up the space for him, and Shiro just had to find the target. But instead, you hear that ding. Ben are saved by the bell. Like Tyson has risen. Stopped by Onizuma. Marzi will just tap this one behind. He does have teammates behind him until that was changed rather fast. Onizuma just has Lexu, who's on 0 boost. Has a backboard as well. Just can't get on the end of it. You can see he was low on boost yet again. Once more from Ram. Marzi shifts this one towards the left. They really have not had much sight of the round half at the moment. It's been very much a midfield battle, with rounds slightly favouring the field domination stat.
Yeah, definitely. There's a demo on the back line. Renshiro had to rush back, but no, Renshiro able to get the better. Goes to the left. Now trying to find this pass into the middle. No, Zeph gets bumped off the play. Onizuma, backboard, looking for a pass middle, cleared away by Ram. Lixer gets demo for his trouble. Now Renshiro goes off the backboard, but cleared away once again. 2 minutes left in this game. Rounds still looking confident. Ben in rounds half now, but without possession.
Ball bouncing. Marzi leaves this one for Onizuma, who called him off. Renshiro wants to play it back. Onizuma has too much peso. And Marzi knows not to bite for the bait. Keeps himself in the defense. Only stepped forward once he knew Renshiro had found safety on his own lines. But these are calculated risks coming out from rounds. Zeph towards the right-hand side. It's a great pass to find his fellow South African teammate. But now the Portuguese have arrived. Block comes out for rounds. Another shot on Onizuma. Makes the last-ditch save. Might be required again, but Marzi lands that 50. It's back out to the corner. And rounds are looking confident in the final 60.
Yep, they certainly are. Marzi into the middle. Opportunity for Onizuma in front of goal. He's still chasing that hat-trick. He didn't get it in Game 3. Will want one in Game 4. He's going to try and come across with 0 boost. That's how desperately he wants his third goal. It's not going to happen on this occasion. Renshiro will be given possession. Driving downfield, Onizuma's ahead of him. But up early is Zeph. Fair play, great cut. And now Marzi doesn't get there either. No challenge from Onizuma. Renshiro, the last man back, needs to make the block. And he makes it perfectly.
Onizuma's up. Could go for the second touch here. Not going to get it. Renshiro, though, with 100 boost. Back him in that position. No deep breaths taken. Looking poised in defense. Only 12 seconds to go now, and rounds from what was a tough first round found their footing after game 1. And well, Marzi's fellow Reunion A has looked incredible, but as has he. This has certainly been a 3-man effort. That is just so hard to stand out when Onizuma has been doing what he has done. 3-0 rounds. It's going to be 3-1 of a series score as well.
It's a bit weird to watch that replay and see Lixer kind of just go off the ball, like not travel towards it. Maybe think he was going to be able to get the save. Either way, it's going to be rounds to take home the victory. 3-0 in that game, as you rightly say, Pegasus. And Ho Ben will have to deal with the 0 and 1 rounds. March on to the 1 and 0. It looked a little bit touch and go for the first 2 games, but I think we can all agree that the main man, Onizuma, then started to feel like it was his game to lose. And, well, he didn't want to lose it, that's for sure.
And Renshiro going from having 0 shots, I believe, in the first game of the day to now consistently getting himself involved in the attacking build-up, getting a lot of those shots on just to test the keeper and play for a lot of these rebounding chances, and of course picking up some goals in the later stages of the game as well was another great step up. That was nice to see from him. He is the captain, he is the leader of the roster, he is the rounds boy, of course plays for them in the Finnish Championships, followed them in APAC, has followed them in SSA to the extent that he's actually in Cape Town right now, playing on the lowest ping that entire lobby probably had, and he's making the most of this opportunity, and he's never someone that goes towards a chance not at 100%. You never see an 80% Renshiro in terms of efforts.
Absolutely not. He really wants to make sure that not just this works out for him and obviously his move to Cape Town, but it works out for the organization as a whole. It works out for his teammates, Onizuma and Marzi. He really does care about the ecosystem and the people around him just as much as his own development. And Renshiro clearly trying to make sure that rounds are pulled through this Swiss stage. And I swear, we go to a game 5 again, Pegasus. I'm going to ask him exactly the same question. It's going to happen again. We don't have to think about that right now, but what we do have to think about is there is an interview that had been taking place with Renshiro while he was in Cape Town with our very own Finker. So enjoy.
Hello, everybody on the Rounds stream and Redirect boys especially. My name is Finka. I'm the digital communication specialist here at Rounds, and here we have a pre-recorded Renshiro interview. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing good.
So
Just
today's
woke up on a Thursday morning.
Yep, I was gonna say today's Thursday, the 26th of March, and the games will continue on Sunday, which is probably when you're gonna see this interview. So there's a slight gap between, but maybe we'll make sense of everything. Well, Open 4 has concluded now, and you made top 8 for the first time. So like, I just want to get your thoughts on what was your like number one key takeaway from this past Open.
I think we learned a lot since the GSL. Like, it felt like we started making big steps forward after losing the first opening round in the GSL to Marine region. Then we just found something as a team, like more on the mental side, on what mindset to have to play good together, and I think that's gonna carry us even further. We still believe that if we played anyone else than Pioneers or Five Years, we could have easily made it further than top 8 already. But overall was good last 3 series of the Open.
Right, and that can change in Open 5. We have no clue who you're gonna face. So now that you're in South Africa, I've seen you grind a lot of ranked, and perhaps it differs a bit from EU. I don't know if it does. How do you feel about it? Like, is it very, very different from EU ranked, or kind of more of the same?
Right now I like it especially because in SSA the cheating problem is way smaller. There's only like one or two, like few people trying to do it, and because it's only few people, they seem to get banned pretty quickly. And well, EU is probably still just fully unplayable. There will be anti-cheat coming to the game next month, so hopefully that's gonna change some things. But yeah, right now I'm just happy that I can grind without having cheater in like at least every other lobby. So yeah, that's been a positive. I think talking about the level, of course, EU is still harder, of course. Like if we ignore the cheating part, but yeah, it's still good. It's like cool experience. You get to see so many different players that you don't normally see in ranked, and yeah, it's like a different experience. I like it.
Yeah, and the anti-cheat is gonna be right on time for you when you come back from your trip as well.
Yeah, then we will find out if it works or not. So
For
we'll
sure.
see.
Well, I have kind of a fun one here. Obviously, Rounds is known as the org from Tampere, Finland, right? But over the past like year or so, it's grown out to Eastern Finland as well, with the likes of myself and Pablo. And from the last interview, I gathered that maybe a lot of people, especially the foreigners in chat, don't know the regions of Finland. Like, we're from Savonia, right? And it's something distinctively different from the other parts of Finland. So I just wanna ask you, like, is there something that you miss from where you were born, especially now that you're so far away from home, that's like very Savonian, like very us?
Mm, well, yeah, I was born in Kuopio. There's my family and uh, many IRL friends too. But yeah, I mean, if I miss anything, it's just seeing my family and friends, I guess. But Tampere is cool. I like it. I think, yeah, I have no regrets moving to Tampere. It's just bigger, and you have everything very close to you. So it's just easy to live and pretty chill place as well. So yeah, I like it. And now that I'm in rounds, it's like even more cool because the org is where I live. So that just makes things so easy.
Are you one of those people who kind of turns out to be more of a Tampere person, or do you just keep like your own Kuopio self even when you've moved places?
I don't know. I'm like kind of 50-50 now. I've been living 3 years in Tampere now. So yeah, I so I feel like I'm from Tampere, but at the same time I still feel like I'm from Kuopio still. But like yeah, I'm kind of
family is always family, right? So like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, last thing to close off. It's very broad. I just need you to say something directly to Bromeo. We need to do it. We need to put a message out there for Bromeo.
To Bromeo, I don't know. I mean, I would say, yeah, now it's time that we finally show what we can do. Like, last 3 series you saw from rounds was only the start, and yeah, we will keep showing it in Open 5 and 6.
It's finally time to believe. It's the time to put your faith up for rounds in Open 5 and 6. Well, yeah, thank you so much for the interview. I'm gonna let you go now and redirect, boys. For you, for chat, for everyone, if you want to see more of this guy, follow Rounds on socials. For example, our TikTok is gonna be at RoundsGG, and pretty much all the socials are gonna be the same handle, and we're gonna be filming a lot more videos from the Cape Town trip for sure. And yeah, enjoy the games. I don't know if this is gonna be at the end or the start of the stream, but either way, redirect, boys, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Finker. Thank you very much. And I like that late question he asked. Make sure to slip in the mention of that guy Bromeo as well. And Renshiro gave a very PR answer, as per usual. He's too nice, but we know that inside every angel, there's a devil. Okay, so I'm going to be your official Renshiro translator. When he said, you know, essentially we'll just let the gameplay do the talking, what he's saying is that rat Bromeo can shut the hell up. We've made top 8. We've already proved him wrong. He even said early in the interview, if it wasn't Pioneers, if it wasn't 5 Fears, he would have advanced further. We're not just a top 8 team. We're better than you could ever imagine, Bromeo. Plus, PS, I hate you. Yeah. PSS, and I actually don't mind the rest of the people on just saying it's just you, Bromeo. It's personal. But anyways, it's personal between us and our second round matchup. It's going to be Midwest Mafia. It's Seed 4 versus Seed 5, as you'd expect of all the teams that were expected to win, won their games, and they very much did, Rhino.
Yeah, they did. And it's a strange position to be in where we're playing 4th seed versus 5th seed, and we've not actually played this unit in RLCS since starting the rounds journey in SSA. It's a strange position to be in, but the reason that Midwest Mafia are in the positions they're in is because they had an excellent Open 4. They were really pushing between Split 1 and Split 2 to improve themselves, to improve their quality. They did just that. They had a great finish in GSL, losing only to Bro Crocros and Synthesis in GSL. Those are the two people that crashed them out of the tournament. So let's not start to get carried away or anything. It can be easy to look at the 3 players on Midwest Mafia, we'll get into that in a moment, and say, oh, this might be a little bit of an easy game. These guys have been grinding behind the scenes. They're ready for Open 5. Rounds needs to be ready for them.
And as a team on the up, you have to be prepared to play other teams on the up and give them the very same respect you have been begging for from the rest of the region. They managed to qualify within round 4 of the Swiss stages of Open 4, finished top 12. These are spots that Rounds has been in before, and now we believe we are capable of even higher than the top 8 performance. We've got to show that very same respect here to Midwest Mafia. You will recognize the names Jerome and Varade. I don't know too much about Peanuts. For me, this is going to be a bit of an introduction, and we have seen grand introductions in SSA. I looked to the name on Azuma on the right hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. There are moments that you can point to for certain players where you go, ah, yes, I recognize you from insert thing here. I mean, Jerome and Varade are major parts of RSC SSA, which is why a load of people will absolutely recognize them. Peanuts, I do agree, is one that I haven't seen as much of, and I'm very interested to see what he's able to do. Clearly, this team of 3 is clicking. Based on their results from Open 4, they've done a fantastic job there. And so, I'm just genuinely, this is going to be just as much of an education for me as anybody else in what the SSA region is bringing at a kind of top 16, top 22 level. And Jerome and Varades love what they do, love what they bring to the table. Peanuts, I'm going to need a little bit of a little bit extra from him, but we'll see.
Absolutely, and well, we know what rounds have been cooking up today. It was an excellent performance to start off the night with Renshiro, Onizuma and Marzi seemingly getting themselves into a high gear at an early point, which we don't often get to say. Of course, only the first 2 rounds as well going to be reliant on that seeding that they earned themselves. From here on out, it's all going to be BU score. That's when the Swiss stage can start to get a little bit funky. You can start to get a bit unlucky, so you've got to make sure to cash in early. And it has been a very strange time in the Rocket League scene overall. We've seen 3 teams that were at the top of their region get completely dislodged. We saw it in MENA. We saw it just a few hours ago in APAC as well. Who's to say that SSA is not going to follow that same pattern? You want to make sure that when that big wave comes, you are one of the teams that are surfing on it, not getting demolished by it.
Yeah, for sure. So we will see exactly whether Rounds and Midwest Mafia have a little bit more to give, and whether they are going to be presenting themselves as that next up team, that next up position. Obviously, we are going to believe that Rounds are that team who are looking like it. Certainly on Azuma and Marzi, youth coming through, starting to make it difficult for those established teams. But there is a lot of youth on the Midwest Mafia side as well. So Rounds in the 1 and O's, playing against a team they've not played so far in RLCS. Which side will be able to surprise the other as we get in to the 1 and O's? Here we go.
Second round. Let's make it a second win for Rounds. We've seen the Series 5 curse carry us across the entirety of the season, one that has even managed to surpass changes in roster. But we've managed to see these boys now on their 4th run in a row as a unit, and they gave such promising signs when they were only together for a week and a half. Now give it a few months, a whole new calendar year as well on top of all of that. And let's see that top 8 shaken up even more. But it has to start here in the top 32. But Varede's not going to make it easy.
Yeah, disjointed defense from Rounds early on. Renshiro able to get a challenge there. Should be the next one up to try and go forwards. But Marzi just in not a great position. And, well, we will be back into game just in a moment. They do not win the game. It's not golden goal, I promise you that. As Midwest Mafia will be 1-0 up with 30 seconds gone.
Peanuts up. Lets it go past him. Renshiro, though, manages to get that read across. Marzi will get the simple clearance out. Onizuma was waiting there on the sidewall, wanted to take a touch. But couldn't get much further than that. Jerome high gets one off ceiling. Gonna be hard to catch. Doesn't reach it. Peanuts as well. Doesn't quite make that read. So that is a huge committal on that offense that hasn't paid out for them. Onizuma will but just bail away. And from a rather unfortunate chance off the back wall in the offensive third, Peanuts doubles up in the defensive as well.
I mean, it's a lovely finish. You know, as far as own goals go, that's one of the prettier ones. It's just not able to get really under the ball to push it away. Onizuma, you saw, goes ahead. He is pretty confident that ball's going to find its home. Might be with that one as well. Renshiro, no. Great save from Jerome. Great speed from Jerome to get across the play and maybe convert. What a save on the goal line. Renshiro somehow keeps the scoreline at 1-1. It might not be there for long. No, Peanuts pushes it to the corner.
Renshiro, the big repelling magnet in the defense for Rounds. Cannot believe that one didn't find the back of the nets. Even though I saw him in the area. Here he is again. Looming close. Times his flick just off. And that allows Jerome to pounce onto him. Onizuma, though, catches it on the low and keeps it close after that 50-50. That one's not going to spawn for him, though, but we've seen how resourceful he can be on low. Marzi knows not to commit. Could hear that explosion behind him. Renshiro's not going to be available as that third option for a few extra seconds. And it's those finer seconds that are making the difference in the closest season of Sub-Saharan Africa we have ever seen.
And those are the kind of communication moments that I really enjoy seeing from Rounds, because to be honest, we don't always get it. Sometimes communication can be the hardest part of this roster. But when you have that moment where Marzi is like, oh, I'm going to go for this, and then gets the call or hears the noise that maybe that's not the best idea, he just respects it. And he gets back into a position where he can make the defensive play. Really nice work from Rounds. Really good positioning. Peanut going to try and force an issue in front of the Rounds net. It's not going to happen yet. Jerome puts the ball up, but Peanuts will be beaten in the air by Marzi. And there's a lovely beat as well on the ground from Renshiro. Rounds turn the game around 2-1.
And this one's just given away for free. Marzi still has to have the bravery to go up for that ball. And Rounds have really liked the look of that bottom left corner today. I don't know what it is, but they found it every single time. A glitch in the matrix that Rounds are going to cash into as much as possible. Peanuts gets a really weird shot there off the ground, but Marzi still manages to find some normality, controls it down. Jerome will steal it. Renshiro sees Onizuma awaiting the corner, doesn't need that boost. That control is going to be deft enough to start to progress the play. Jerome unchallenged, now blocked off by Marzi. Great patience shown by Rounds so far, but Onizuma is going to take it high.
Yeah, and you've got to give credit where it's due. Jerome with that turn, it was really sharp, made it difficult for Rounds to understand exactly what he wanted to do, but that is a steal on the sidewall. Marzi, beautiful work, making sure the Midwest Mafia can't escape, reads it better than his opponent, and that's 3-1 with 1:40 to go.
Plenty of time though for Midwest Mafia. We've seen games flip very quickly in this region, especially in the Swiss stage where that curse often looms above the organisation of Rounds' head. Onizuma lands for demo though. Renshiro has been given a complete opening. And it is sunny in Cape Town. But as my good friend Rhino would like to say, it's never too hot for the snowplow.
Certainly is not. And Renshiro takes maximum advantage. 1:29, 3 goals the lead now for Rounds. And we saw them warming into things. We saw them really getting to grips with Swiss in that first series of the day. They have continued that momentum into series number 2 already. And that is what I like to see from Rounds, making sure to maintain that level, maintain that confidence that they're able to find within themselves. Do a really good job of it so far. 60 seconds to go. Renshiro once again taking advantage of a bump in front of him. They might force me to get the sunglasses out before this game is over.
And Rhino, I know you're used to doing your audio descriptions, but you didn't need to describe which corner that went into, because it's been the same every single time. The default's just to assume it's that bottom left yet again. Rounds looking for 2 more in the final minute. Peanuts, though, is going to turn away. That's giving Onizuma just that extra bit of leg weight to reach towards that one. Bumps off there. Oh, goodness. Of Marzi. Not going to find his teammate inside. Renshiro is going to have to catch it off his own back wall. Can stay close to the area. Wanted a touch out of Marzi. Will get one, but it's delayed delivery. Marzi. Yet again with a tight touch. Demoed off the play. Renshiro sees a man in front of him. Looked like he was going to go for the bump. Instead, just tips it all up for himself. Fancy footwork. See Harry Lippman him out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to say earlier, someone in chat mentioned that Renshiro was doing his best Manuel Neuer impression. I was going to say Jaskalainen. Absolutely. 10 seconds to go. It's a miss on the first. Marzi collects on the right-hand side. Can we get one extra for the road? No, Peanuts will save away. But on 0 seconds, the scoreline is locked. It's going to be Team 1 to take the victory, and that's going to be Rounds.
Hopefully team number 1 by the end of this season. Got themselves a very early lead into this series, and I must say, it felt like we got multiple games worth of action, all bundled up really nicely in that first one, and no shock when you see the stats here. 11 shots total from Rounds, a hat-trick from Renshiro, and Marzi was close to picking one off himself. The 4 shots he got himself and the 2 goals. That is unbelievable performance.
It really is. Just, I mean, it's a step up, isn't it? It's what we love to see from Rounds. And this kind of, what I describe as dovetailing between the 3 players, where one maybe not having as good a game as we've seen them. Doesn't mean they're having a bad game by any means. Maybe just a little bit below that level. The other two are always there to be able to step up and make plays and get on the good side of the scoreline. And I mean, it's very rare that it's Renshiro who's the one that's dropping his level. He's always ready to be kind of picking up the slack that is there. The good thing about it is right now, Pegasus, there's not much slack to pick up. I think that rope's pretty tight.
There really isn't, and it's a really tough game to look at if you're a Midwest Mafia fan, especially because I don't think they played particularly poorly, Rhino. I really do not. They had a really strong start to that last game. They kept Rounds challenged, but all of a sudden, that gap started to widen, and as soon as Rounds just had their grip on that small crack, they were able to break it wide open. Onizuma! How do you keep doing this?
I'm not... What? Hey, right, let's talk firstly. The audacity to even try to do what he's just done. Secondly, the ability to pull it off. What are we doing here? Onizuma, take a bow. He's feeling it today. And that should ring alarm bells and danger signals for everybody else in the SSA qualifications today. One extra one. Not going to happen from Marzi, but it's lights out from Rounds early on in Swiss.
Marzi, quick touch up high. Saw Jerome Bale away. We can continue the drag. Reunion, eh? You might have just found some of your two finest talents.
I mean, I've not done this for a while on Swiss, but I think it's time to bring that back because Rounds are having some fun out there. The HFM working wonders. Jerome going to take a shot here. It's going to be high. Two players go for it. I'm really not bothered at this particular moment in time. Rounds really starting to feel good about it. Onizuma with a clearance, that will do. Midwest Mafia, bit of possession, bit of moments in Rounds' territory, which is going to cause some problems if they are allowed to stay for an elongated period of time. Marzi, oh, that's a bit of a miscommunication. That's going to cause problems.
Okay.
But a good save at the second time of asking, and now Renshiro's on the backboard. He doesn't read it. There's a miss on the goal line as well. It's a bit disjointed, but Rounds still haven't conceded from it yet.
Renshiro's still looking for his go-away goal in this one. We've already seen an unbelievable attempt from both Marzi and Renshiro. Marzi's got himself 2 flip resets here just to progress the play, not even to have an attempt at net. Jerome is stopped by an early jumping on Onizuma yet again. High confidence. Renshiro again ready to shut it down. Comes off that ceiling. Marzi's inside. The space is opened up. Onizuma gets that pass grab. A low driven doesn't quite beat Peanuts. Perfectly positioned just to cut out both angles. Marzi lets this one fly past him. It's going to be too tough for Peanuts to cut this one inside, especially with Renshiro holding your tails.
Yeah, it's great play. And actually, the spacing onto the second man isn't bad either. Onizuma now looking for the pass into the middle. Met by a Midwest Mafia player. But, oh my goodness, Marzi almost off the backboard looking for a shot there. Go ahead from Peanuts. He's just not going to make contact. That means Onizuma can send it away, but only as far as Jerome. Onizuma goes up for the second challenge. Boy, does he get it, sending Midwest Mafia packing back to their own half. Varade pops it high. Marzi brings it through. And Shiro steals the ball again. And once again, second man spacing good. Onizuma really playing with his tail up. Looking so good early on in this Swiss stage. And actually, it might not even be that early if we only need 3.
Certainly. That would make a huge change compared to what we've seen before, and there's no guarantee that we will play 5 fears in that third round.
I'll take that. That's me. On me, boys.
That was not a Mafia player, was it? No, it was, but it was just left completely open.
Yeah.
Not too sure how Rounds let that one slip through the cracks. It's within 1. I mean, it's their one mistake of the entire game. Honestly, of the entire day, if we're being completely honest right now. Every single time we've conceded, it has been off the back of no play. Onizuma has slotted himself in the top shelf. Marzi placed the actual object that mattered in that very same spot.
That had to be intentional, right? Like that Please tell me that was an intentional fake from
Onizuma,
Onizuma.
this is the path you want the ball to go to. I'll just convoy it to that spot.
Yeah, I think there's been communication. You know, there's been something. He was told to let it go. Marzi was in a good position, and that's the story that we're going to go with until proven otherwise, folks. That's all I'm going to say. Jerome will be able to read this one. Looks off the backboard. It's going to waterfall. Renshiro not in the best position, but he will be on the second time of asking. Double commit with Onizuma flying past as well. A lot of resources. But Onizuma, he misses the initial play and then just goes, right, well, I'm just going to use my entire tank to come back and get the challenge onto the player. That's exactly what he does. Makes the challenge. Marzi booms that long. And with 1:20 to go, Midwest Mafia are warming into this game. There's no doubt about it, but Rounds still looking confident, especially making saves like that one.
You do have to stop the progression of your opponents, because even if you manage to win this one, you still have another one to play. There's potential that you could have 3 more games afterwards. Midwest Mafia really start to find their footing. Got 2 lands. 58 seconds still to go, and Shiro just not getting off the back of that one. Jerome just had one really clean self-setup touch onto that sidewalk. And again, no further defenders there to be seen. They've done well when they've settled themselves in defense, and oftentimes they've done well at interrupting those quick counter-attacks. But if you don't get that interruption, it's essentially a guaranteed goal. Marzi, though, takes it low. Still playing for those mind games. It's Marzi with the back pass, question mark. Yeah, we'll call it that.
All right. He didn't concede. All right. Ranjiro just goes straight into the back of his teammate. Not sure about that one. As Marzi now will... Oh, I think he wanted to pop that high. Didn't get the opportunity. So Midwest Mafia now just starting to squeeze Rounds a little bit. Just making them feel the presence of their cars in their own half. Off the backboard from Marzi, cleared away. Third man, well, just that little bit too far away. Onizuma will bring it down. We'll try and break free. With 10 seconds to go, only 1 goal to the good. Marzi wants an extra one for the road. Gets a nice redirect. The pass is there. Renshiro, bottom left corner. Well, if you were confused about what the result of Game 2 was going to be confused no more.
Oh, and that second touch from Marzi as well is so precise. He showed off. He used the back of his car instead of the front to do it. They are looking excellent. And this game has been close. Midwest Mafia, like we said, getting a bit more of a foothold into this game. I didn't say that they necessarily had a bad game 1, despite what the scoreline would have told you. And in that second game, they just looked a little bit more locked defensively, and we got a taste of how close this series truly can be.
Yeah.
But, and there is a but, Rounds have been playing confidently. They let 1 or 2 just slip through there, one of which did get punished. So without that, if we keep the consistency they have for the rest of the day, this can continue to be a one-sided score sheet. But you've just got to keep that level. That's what's separating themselves now from being a top team. They've increased their efficiency. They can squeeze blood out of a stone. But most of the time, you need to do it almost every time if you want to be a top team.
And it's interesting because of the history that we have on this round stream, where it's what 1 game and a half in is the first time we're actually mentioning the C word. Consistency for reference. It's something that we often talk about a little bit with Rounds, is that slight inconsistency. Sometimes the moment can get a little bit too big for them. Sometimes they can just feel that pressure starting to build. And I don't feel like they are having that moment just yet. We're still having that conversation about consistency, but so far we've not seen a drop in it. And that's the most important thing, is Rounds are still playing just as well as they were in Game 3 of Series 1. Hopefully they'll now be playing in Game 3 of Series 2.
Hopefully so. But ball high. It's Jerome to boom this one forward. Marzi isn't able to get it, but Varade, oh, no second touch for him. No follow-up shot as well from any of the Mafia men. Marzi is bumped off. And well, if the Mafia didn't already have a headhunt towards Rounds, they certainly do now after those first 2 performances against them, because they have showed up a bit. They have definitely had a bit of fun with it. And you don't want to play around with the Mafia.
Certainly don't, because as soon as you let them back into a series, that's then when the kind of mental starts to become a little bit tricky, and you're like, oh, okay, well, they've won a game, and then they won 2, and oh no, we're playing in Game 5 against a team that we feel like we should be beating. Difficult to come back from that position. Zonazuma out of the corner, looking to try and bring rounds free, but what Midwest Mafia did really well at the end of that previous game is make it difficult for rounds to break from their half. They've not been able to do that this time. Will they pay for it? Not this occasion. Onizuma fires over, and the counter-attack from Midwest Mafia. Jerome reset, met by Onizuma.
Oh, Vare's up. Onizuma had hopped up with him. Marzi is close alongside Renchiro's confident pre-jump. Keeps his flip. Onizuma, though, still prepared on that right wall to keep this offense going. It was a high-risk attack, but it's much more okay once you do have the patchwork in place to get away with it. Jerome stopped by Renshiro. Marzi's up so quickly yet again. It's off that back wall. Renshiro's in the area, and you find him in the 6-yarder. He's going to poach it every single time. Another shot in the back against the Mafia.
Yep, there you go. It's going to be Renshiro. And sometimes you look at a goal from Renshiro, you're just like, well, who else could it have been? Today, it really could be any of them. Onizuma and Marzi both stepping up in a goal-scoring sense. So, yeah, Renshiro not as on the board as he normally can be. That's a lovely finish from Vare.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really nice double. Difficult angle to find. And especially with Marzi jumping with you as well, that's so easy to misread, but he doesn't. Drives it down into the ground. Good equalizer.
Not much you can say about that. Maybe that Marzi should have gone for the backwall read instead of a shot block when Renshiro was available, but that is a really precise statement. The kickoff as well coming straight afterwards. This is a familiar position for all rounds, allowing those goals to come against them in pairs. But there too, that you can't really argue with. Onizuma was so close as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one when we talk about rounds' kickoffs, because they do seem to be weaker than the average bear. But for the moment, they haven't really had it go too badly against them. This game now is a good test for rounds. They would, of course, like to get this done in 3 if they are able to. And Renshiro really taking this through. He's going to make a job of it. Drops that one down 2-2 at half the game. And that mentality from Renshiro is never going away.
And he doesn't panic as well. As soon as he gets that reset, high up in the air, he buys so much time. Doesn't immediately pop that flip so he can get under Varhade. Incredible. Marzi, hold on. Goes for a touch inside, blocked off. But Onizuma still facing forward, so Renshiro can hold his momentum to get himself back. Onizuma parks up as well. Believes Renshiro's got this on his lonesome. Still gets back inside. There's 4 goals shared equally down the middle. Still 2 minutes for that goal count to be increased. It must be at least 5. But something tells me that this game has a lot more to show.
You just get that impression, don't you? Both teams working hard, but that's a miss on the sidewall. Renshiro don't get the dunk. Now Onizuma coming in from deep. The reset into the pass middle is beautiful. Vare can bring it through, gets the reset into the corner. Jerome tries to bring it away. It's not going to happen. It's Renshiro on his bonnet into the middle. Nice pass. Onizuma's shot is wide, but he follows in, gets another pass. Renshiro 360 in the air to try and get to that ball again. Surely the finish is in. Onizuma forces it over the line, but I have absolutely no idea what's going on after that.
This isn't phase, this isn't optic. You've seen 360s, but this is all round and round, ladies and gentlemen. All 3 get involved. It's a great 50 from Marzi on that back wall. That is unbelievable yet again. I just cannot believe my eyes. Pinch me, Rhino, pinch me.
I can't, because we're currently not in the same position, but I'm sure someone around you might be able to. Onizuma, he's got his second of the game, and this is after Midwest Mafia overcommit in the rounds half. And they kind of have to. They're 2-0 down. They're now 4-2 down in the game. They are going to have to push their resources and make it kind of difficult for rounds to be able to get out of their half. The problem is, Rounds have been able to find the key so far. Vorate with that incredible goal earlier on. He is going to get another one. Midwest Mafia score off another kickoff.
If Midwest Mafia do end up getting swept, or even if they go on to lose this series in any persuasion, Varhade is going to feel so disappointed because he has had quite the series himself, and it's just going to be overshadowed by the fact that they lost this series. Of course, if that is still the case, still a minute left of this third game, this is definitely the player to try and stop. Marzi manages to.
Yeah, certainly does. And now the clearance from Renshiro down the right side has a little bit of boost to work with. Jerome with a clearance on Azuma up on midfield, gets the pass down really nicely, double commit on the goal line. No one's there on the left side, so no capitalization from Browns, but Marzi with that incredible cut, he had to recover in mid-air, and he does so. Vare takes a shot, there's an attempted bump on the goal line, doesn't come through, and Onizuma should be able to clear the ball away. Renshiro's got a bump on the left-hand side, sorry, it's a demo, and now Renshiro faking the first out, can't get past the second. Marzi rises highest, but he's only playing towards the corner.
50 down. This bottom corner is all Peanuts. Needs to create a play. Varhade wanted to take it off him, it looks like. Did have more boost of a tank, but Peanuts will back himself to remain in the play. There's a man inside on Azuma. Prevents him from making that touch. 5 seconds still to stand. Midwest Mafia need to go coast to coast on Azuma. Looks like he's hungry for a fifth, however. Varhade gets that first touch on Azuma. Will stop him down. Marzi just has to slam this one through. And that is a sweep added to the record for Rounds. Unbeatable on the day. They'll make it to the 2-0.
And it seems like it's for the first time in SSA this season, I want to say. I don't think Rounds
say that as well.
I don't think Rounds have been in the 2-0s. So nice to be in this position after such a strong open four, wanted to capitalize, wanted to make the most of the seeding that we get. Rounds have done just that. They go relatively cleanly through rounds 1 and 2 in the Swiss. However, waiting on the other side is something a touch scary, Pegasus, if the Buchholz score does not favor us.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some really scary teams. Of course, you're thinking of the likes of Five Fears, Death Cloud, Crows, all being the potential opponents as it currently stands. They're all currently equal on the BU score as well, and if we end up with an equal BU or a worse BU, that is going to be Five Fears without a doubt in that 2-0 bracket. And as Renshiro said in his interview when just talking about Open 4, there were only really 2 teams they didn't back themselves against necessarily in that top 8 spot. That was Pioneers, who they ended up losing to, although playing a pretty decent performance for their first ever top 8. The other was Five Fears, and we play them every single Open. I'm so sure of it right now. I really need to turn back the clock to remember a time that Round haven't had to play Five Fears. I think there was maybe one Open where it didn't happen, but then we had to play both Pioneers and Bro Croco. So I mean, it's never been with us really, has it? But at least we can say we earned this matchup, and it's not just because of our seeding, because now, Rhino, initial seeding does not matter for the rest of the Open. This is all now about Bucky but Cole taking all the control.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with Five Fears likely being our opponent in the next one, that is only going to improve our Buchholz score if we do end up on the wrong side of that result in the future, right? So I don't think either of the teams we've played so far today are pushovers either, which should increase the Buchholz score further again. And yeah, it's the position we're in. It's the position we find ourselves in, Pegasus. It's unfortunate to be where we are, but it's also a privilege to be able to play against the top teams in the region and get that experience. So I'm sure that Onizuma and Marzi will find it at least useful to be able to go against those kinds of teams. And with Renshiro, you know, kind of steadying the ship, again, the have fun meta, there's no pressure. We know that's how they went into the game against Pioneers. That's how they'll go against this game, is no pressure. We're not expected to win this game. Let's just go out and have some fun.
Well, there's only one spot in SSA for the majors, and while Rounds look pretty much out of the contention in this specific season, Rounds has always been and always will be a long-term project. You need to earn this experience against these top teams, and soon you'll see Rounds reach the very top. This is one extra step in what has been such an excellent journey. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in the 2-0.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä enää 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikentällä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Dream just to be where you are, in a world I can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me where you are. where you are. Oh, I dream just to be where you are. In a world I can see where you are. Though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me. Where you
Wonderful viewers in the Rounds Twitch chat, I task you with a challenge. What should be the 3 slots on the Rounds Bingo card? Is it Onozuma scoring a screamer? Is it going to round 5 of the Swiss stage? Or is it going to be playing 5 Fears? I'll leave that one up to you, but ladies and gentlemen, guess who we're playing in this third round? Of course, it's 5 Fears to try and achieve qualification into the top 16 stage with what would be an incredible seeding as well to get there. Rhino, this is the big one. This is the team in the region. They represented them over at Boston. They're the favourites to go represent in Paris as well, especially after winning the most recent Open. But there have been shake-ups against all the #1 teams in all the developing regions. We saw it in APAC. We saw it in MENA. Let's make it happen in SSA.
I've got to be honest with you, Pegasus. It's not just the fact that they won Open 4, it's the manner in which they won the Open. A sweep in the grand final against a team that are meant to be on paper on your level, right? And they just push them aside without a concern, without a worry, without any dramas whatsoever. They made it look easy. And SSA has been a 1-team region for a very long time. In Split 1, it wasn't. In Split 1, we saw those grand finals go right the way down to the wire. Super exciting, but unfortunately, Pioneers have just gone that little bit off the boil. And we talked about it on mainstream. We've even talked about on this stream, I believe, in Open 4. So the situation is just that 5 Fears are the best team in SSA right now. And Rounds are going to have to do, well, they're going to have to play well beyond what they've been able to show to this point in order to be able to beat them. But in the last 2 games, as we've already said, they've looked very confident. They've looked very sure of themselves. I think 5 Fears are going to be surprised by the rounds that they face.
Well, it's Bro Crows versus Death Cloud on the other side of that 2-0 bracket, but that's not our focus over here on the Rounds team stream. It's a matchup that's always guaranteed. There's history between these 2 teams in the 1 season, but they have stood head to head. Close games often being the theme when it's Renshiro, Onozuma and Marzi against Guns, Snowy and Tekos, but eventually the class is shown, the ice is there, and that blue spiral always ends up on the winning side. Can Round finally make a change at the top of SSA?
And it's what we talked about a little bit before as well. We talked about it with Pioneers, just having that X factor, having the players that can bring you something from nothing. Every single player on 5 Fears has that. Guns can do something absolutely crazy. Tekos' mechanics are out of this world. And Snowy, he has the best game sense in the region, just bar none. He always knows where to be at any given time. And Rounds are going to have to, as we say, show a really good look if they're going to be able to get beyond 5 Fears because of that. Because they have that individuality. And now that we're getting in towards the latter stages of Split 2 as well, we're obviously in Open 5 now. The fact of the matter is, they are gaining team cohesion as well. And that is a scary prospect for SSA.
Especially when you're looking at Guns on that other team, who has been the big hot topic in SSA for a few seasons now. He's actually going to be reaching a point very soon where he might have more regional wins than teams he's been on, and that is going to be an incredible feat if you guys know the history of Guns in this region. But Onozuma, I want to see him go mechanic for mechanic against that 5 Fears man. Of course, Tekos on the roster is also going to be one to beat in that regard. But moving forward into this game, Onozuma, I want him to show off the loyalty. I want to show off the build-up he has had with his own teammates and see if that can make the difference. We've seen the rise of a lot more teams that on paper haven't necessarily been suggested to be the better team, Rhino, but it's how those 3 players connect that has made all the difference, especially when you've got that 4th and 5th man as well on the side of Rounds in the form of a coach. 5 Fears, definitely been a lot of discussion around those regards, but it's the pitch where all those discussions are silenced and questions are answered. Rounds have had plenty of questions on their heads. Can they cause a shock to the system? Question marks all round.
And we will get answers in the next few games, hoping for more than 3 from a round's persuasion. But we'll be able to see if that does happen. It's an early steal from Guns, looking for the pass middle. Cleared away by Renshiro. There's actually an opportunity to get beyond, but Tekos is too quick to track back. The pass is once again going to be cut off by the Spaniard, and he recovers so beautifully. Double off the back. I mean, we talked about it before the game. That is why we did. Tekos with a brilliant opener.
And well, you saw when they announced the 5 Fierce team and Tekos was listed on that roster, Rhino, that was likely going to be the player to immediately take that top spot in the region. And he's been able to play with that exact same fashion. He's definitely lived up to the expectations. There's been questions of his consistency over all of these teams because we almost had that same point to make when he joined over in APAC for Elevate. It's all been answered now here in SSA. He truly is just that good.
Yeah, he was the almost man for so long. And then as soon as Open 2's victory came through for 5 Fears, well, looks like he's been almost ever since. He has been the man. And now there's a chance. Backboard Guns just not with the resources to follow through. Renshiro doesn't have too many resources in the tank either, but he plays a really nice 50. Gives Marzi an opportunity, but he doesn't read the play well enough. Onizuma tries to cut that one through, take time away from 5 Fears attack. A bit of boom ball being played. Guns next up, but a big 50 win by Onizuma. Marzi jumping high, looking to get around the back line. Tekos is there, but Renshiro should be there next up. What a save, Snowy on the goal line.
You spoke about his game sense. Saw immediately the positioning of Renshiro, knows that was going to go heading towards that bottom corner. You saw him shift his position really early to get there. Most other teams wouldn't have that same level of reaction time. You have to be that step ahead of that back wall. Onizuma look to step ahead, but that is an unbelievable block on the goal line. 5 Fierce showing their talent, getting a shot of their own. Onizuma's turn to make the block. Now Ren's up fast. Snowy will continue the blizzard here on the final third. Scuns gets his first touch, hugs for his second. Tekos is local. Onizuma's block is progressed further by Renshiro. He'll give himself a chance to recharge for another 5 Fears onslaught. The post will deny.
And you saw right there the kind of shot that goes in against every other team in the region that isn't 5 Fears, right? They somehow are able to get hands to things that you just wouldn't expect them to be able to get to. Tekos, the ball is glued to his bonnet. The play across, but a great recovery actually from Rounds. They need to get beyond this halfway line, and they do so. Onizuma over the top, wanting the 50, sent away, but a double commit on the goal line. Marzi can't follow through, and the turnaround has to be quick. Tekos trying to beat out the defense. He does it again. Tekos, the main man for 5 Fears, 2-0.
Does so well to catch that touch as well. Uses the back of his car just to make sure he doesn't put too much power behind it. Renshiro had managed to get himself a bit deeper set despite the high push that he put himself in on the offense. Rounds haven't been scared to step forward in this game, and that has been a promising sign. Then you really need to make sure you take those chances, but 5 Fears defensively have looked so solid. They're truly a two-sided team. And Renshiro is still going to have to find another dimension. Takes it low on Azuma's second touch. Not going to weasel its way in the back of the net. That shot certainly will for Marzi. And I thought he was completely out of the play, rotating back to third, decided that he had some more to give.
And this is what I'm talking about a little bit with Rounds surprising 5 Fears at moments. Guns just was not expecting Marzi to get in front of Snowy at all on that aerial play. But the way that Marzi turns around, gets the opportunity, gets the shot off, is going to surprise a lot of teams, and even those at the top of the region. Now Onizuma is taking those early challenges, and I want to see more of that from Rounds, because the more you can displace and make 5 Fears second guess every step they're taking, the better it's going to be for Rounds and the more opportunities they will gain. The turnaround once again happening. Tekos trying to keep the ball close to his car. Can't do so. Marzi off the right side leaves it for Onizuma. That shot goes wide.
No, wait. Faces the skipper, Renshiro. And that is a commanding block to keep this ball within the half, but Tekos knows he's going to have to get a bit more creative. The flip reset's going to be the lockpick he needs. And now the ball's just outside the box towards Marzi. 50 well, though, against Snowy. Commits all his boost to attack Guns. The Guns is just that few inch forward and manages to beat him to that race. On Azuma, that's a really solid touch on that back wall. Gonna go unappreciated for not creating a goal scoring opportunity, but those are the moments you have to put together when you're low on boost.
And you see Renshiro there going up the sidewall just to almost fake out that he was going for that challenge, which meant that once again, 5Fears had to second guess what their next step was. And now on Azuma has a shot. It's just not close enough to the left-hand side of the goal to get around the 5Fears defense. Guns, reset. I think he wants to turn alone, but there are enough people back for Rounds to make the save. There's not now, as the pass goes middle. Snowy drives the ball home. And after Onazuma's play over to the left-hand side, Tekos collects, plays it through. Renshiro's on an island. It's perfect Rocket League from 5Fears.
The pirouettes from Tekos as well, to find the ball inside and a teammate on top of all of that when it was such a chaotic position. Cannot be understated how difficult that is. And they haven't actually had many opportunities in this second half, I would say.
Yeah.
But their first chance to get a ball on target, they take it. That's 5Fears. That is who Rounds are facing. That is who they have to try and take down if they're looking for the perfect switch and cause one of the biggest upsets that this region has seen.
Yeah, it certainly would be. But you've got to look at the positives coming out of that game, and the positives are that, you know, Rounds were able to get a goal, and it was a very, very solid goal in regulation. No gimmicky kickoffs, no kind of outrageous miss from 5Fears. Look, it's a really good goal that Rounds were able to score in the middle of that game, and that's, again, an opportunity that Onizuma scores 9 times out of 10. It's just when you're playing 5Fears, they just have resources. They seem to have more than 3 players on the field at any given time. A really tough thing to deal with, but here is that goal, just catching 5Fears by surprise. It's a really nice play from Marzi. Trouble is, they are still playing against the top of the region. You've got to outscore the top of the region to beat them. Difficult to do.
Very difficult to do, and especially when they had such a great start to this game. Those 2 goals that they started with came really early in those 5 minutes, and even within that time, Rounds were having their own chances at net. It was a 2-sided affair, but we saw some excellent defensive efforts, especially from Snowy, to keep that clean sheet for such a long period of time. Rounds eventually found their way through, and at that time, dare I say, they looked like complete equals.
Yeah, they... Complete equals might be a stretch, but they certainly didn't look like they were out of their depth. I will definitely give you
Correct.
that one. As over in the corner, as an opportunity, Tekos trying to bring it away on Azuma, wanting the block, doesn't get it. Tekos picking up the 100 boost, picking up some speed as well. Gets the block on the clearance, and just, he looks like a man possessed at the moment, Tekos. He's done with Swiss. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to go home and have some dinner.
This is almost a guarantee for him every time he goes into this Swiss stage. It's just that 3-0 expectation. And for most players, that's a hard pressure to have to try and maintain. It's all automatic, though, for 5Fears, and you make the job a bit easier when your clearance doesn't quite land as you'd like. Again, it's one of those hard reads off the back wall from Marzi that hasn't gone his way. Renshiro could see that it was going to be a tough job and thought he wasn't going to get a touch in the first place. At least here, a very simple double commit, and it's one that we actually saw in the series beforehand as well.
Yeah.
That is how you get punished for ultimately leaving your back wall open. It does complicate the position so much.
And they are the double commits that really concern me from a Rounds perspective. Is Marzi has got control of that ball. He's going to be first to that ball. You can't call him off while he's in the air off the backboard going towards the play. So the fact that Onizuma is kind of going behind him, looking like he's still trying to play that ball for some reason, it feels wrong, right? Like, if you're just watching Rocket League for the first time, you can watch that back and go, oh, there's a player on the backboard who's going across, and he probably shouldn't be in that position because, you know, his teammate has control.
Yeah.
Just those little tightenings that need to go Rounds' way if they are to get the better of these very, very top teams. And now Onizuma down the other side is going to try and get this one off the backboard. But the problem you've got against Five Fears is that backboard will always be protected because they know how important it is to dominate the backboard.
The bulletproof vest straps are looking a little bit loose right now. A bit baggy on them. A bit clumsy in certain moments. Onizuma though, no clumsiness about that save. Gets it towards that right wall. Marzi not going to be able to pick up 2 touches. When Shiro has Snowy against him. Anticipates the fake. Gets a really nice 50. Likes the touch forward from Onizuma, but he's going to get bumped here. You can see it coming from a mile away. But he still manages to recover the slightest touch to allow Marzi that extra millisecond to get back in time. It's all a matter of Unreal units. It's all within the matter of 1 goal right now. Second half is underway.
Yep. The speed on rotation from Five Fears is second to none. The way that they notice that things aren't going their way, they notice that maybe the pinch is going back, and they are in front of every Rounds player on defense, and it's all 3 of them as well. They're all willing to make that defensive play. Snowy's got his second of the game from 3 shots. And again, it's not off the back of too much bad from Rounds, except for that double commit on the goal line once again.
It's a moment where Five Fears have made Rounds slip on a few occasions. Onizuma though on the kickoff still wants to ruin the clean sheet. Save comes out from Snowy, takes control here at the corner. Onizuma wants it up for himself, but Ren did jump up with him. The 50 doesn't land for him either. Tekos was given free rein to boom this through. Marzi plays for the pass against Renshiro. Had to make sure to land that one perfectly. He did. Guns avoids the bump, and that allows him to just build up from the defense because Tekos and Snowy already anticipating that his teammates got it in the bag. The confidence that Five Fears have between each of their players is so high, but completely accounted for because they are just that good. Down pass from Marzi. Renshiro knows that one is going to land right on his bonnet.
This is such an intelligent pass because, again, it just confuses Five Fears. They're like, oh no, none of us can get to that ball before Renshiro's about to. You have to play on the goal line, and realistically, they have to just dive and hope that they're going to be able to get on the end of it. So really nice pass from Marzi. He should be the one credited with that. There might be a chance to get that back and hang on just a moment. Rounds back level 2-2 after Renshiro tells Tekos to get on the weight.
Check his boots. There's a neutron star hiding. So dense for that 50. Five Fears watch this game start to slip through their fingertips, and Guns is going to see if he can catch it before it hits the ground and shatters. Snowy off the corner. Tekos grabs a bump, and Onizuma's not going to be able to recover, so Marzi's up just in time. Guns waits towards that midfield space. Renshiro still finds that gap towards the corner. Onizuma wants to take this one for himself, steals his way off of the captain. And the Marzi 50 stays central. Renshiro again back with that bravery, but you see Tekos with a full tank of boost, and you back, but he's going to pick up at a minimum of 50. 2 players step up too high, but Marzi able to allow the team to regroup.
The thing with Tekos is you will absolutely never see him boom the ball clear if he believes that he can take possession. And it's really a lesson that actually some of the Rounds players do need to learn a little bit, is the boom ball isn't always the best opportunity. It's not always the best thing to do. Onizuma, one of those players, does really well to get a shot on target. Tekos will go across, but the challenge will come in from Renshiro. Will only find it back to Onizuma, who takes it through the middle. I like that play. Takes out Guns as well. 3v2 spawns, but Marzi's touch just gets away from him. Tekos off the right-hand side. Might have wanted to go alone, decides not to. There's another player there. And with 1 second to go, as soon as Five Fears just press that gas pedal even a little bit, it's so scary for players on the other side. And they get the goal that wins them the game.
Snowy prevents as well the opportunity for 2 goals. There's still 1 second of hope if we would like. There we go. We'll see if it hits the ground. Not quite yet. Renshiro still has a touch for himself. And it did feel like it was futile. It is indeed. Five Fears will take that game away from Rounds. They set themselves up for a match point. And it's an unfortunate one there, Rhino, especially because you feel like that they could have snuck this one away.
Yeah.
But I would say Five Fears did have an edge for a majority of that game. They had the shot stat. You can see how heavily that is going to be highlighted, blue versus the green. And Rounds, it was more of a game that they were trying to steal away. They did well defensively to hold it out for the time they did, but they don't have that same fear factor, that clinicality that Five Fears have when they have in that final third. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I'm holding my breath every single time I see Five Fears in that Rounds third. Rounds don't have that same energy inflicted onto their opponents, but that's simply because they're not the number one team in the region. They're not the one that went and represented the entirety of sub-Saharan Africa at the Boston Major. This is just number one seed things that Five Fears completely haven't deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned it right there. They deserve to have that because they are clinical. Because in those positions, it is difficult to go against them and think that they won't get that ball over the line. So they continue to prove it. They continue to do it. But you talked in the previous game about complete equality. And I think that game there was a bit closer as far as equality goes. Yes, Five Fears took double the number of shots that Rounds did. It was 15-7. But when you are looking at the game as a whole, Rounds were right there with them. And I think, again, it's all about building confidence in a game like this. Rounds are going to take massive confidence moving forwards in the tournament after playing a game like this against the top of the region.
Yeah, there are style differences between teams, of course, which is why you can't just look at the shooting stats, and Round can adapt to their opponent to an extent. And when you are playing Five Fears, typically, you do have to play a little bit more docile at moments than you would like to be, but just when that opportunity arises, that's when you've got to take it. So whilst the shooting stats might go against them, they can still pull out results. And I know that me and you are very familiar with APAC. I think of a team like Dream Station that managed to pull that off amazingly at the top of the league. Onizuma, he's looking for those top spots himself. It's a gorgeous catch off a mistouch from Guns. No mistouches here from Onizuma, and a flick against Tekos, who does fancy himself actually in the 1v1s playlist, is all going to be towards the Reunion A.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be Onizuma. That's the quintessential position that Onizuma wants to find himself in. Great catch coming off that wall, and he's able to get the job done. Marzi backflip. Oh my goodness, the team pinch to clear it away. Another opportunity goes begging with Onizuma clearing it right down the middle of the field. Tekos redirects doesn't actually come through in the way that he would have wanted, and now Onizuma will bring it through once again. Another opportunity for a 1v1. The difference is he's got no resources, and Snowy will bring it away.
Snowy's low as well, though. Musty flick doesn't have a scoop he was looking for still. Going to force a response out of the Rounds defense. Guns high. Uses this flip just as this time was about to run off, I believe. Snowy stays close towards that right wall. Onizuma's come off the ceiling. You can see him there. Still manages to get past. Marzi's gone high, so Snowy will go low. Guns is waiting low, and the shot is low as well. Bottom right corner, no more goal difference. Five Fears have reset the game.
What I will say is, I love to see Onizuma going for those challenges and going for those really early challenges, because if he picks that ball off, it's a free goal for Rounds. The problem is, you're playing against Five Fears, and as soon as you miss that challenge, that's communicated among all three of the Five Fears players. They know you're in a weakened position on defense. They take advantage immediately. And it's that, again, we use the word clinicality a lot, and that is exactly what it is from a Five Fears perspective. Onizuma trying to turn things around and bring Rounds back to a lead in this game. He's not going to be able to do it right there and then, as Guns just gets the clearance and makes it look so effortless to get around a couple of players. Tekos wants the pinch, double commit, might be the job done. No, Snowy can't find the top corner.
And Onizuma's demoed off the play as well, and Shiro takes it past one. Tekos is bumped off, but Marzi didn't anticipate he was going to have that much space, ends up rushing for touch. Onizuma, long boost steps forward, and you speak about his ceiling challenge, but I think back to the bit of analysis we got to got to see during GSL, where Quantec was going over a Bro Crocro's clip, where Onozuma did exactly that. He went for an unbelievable, just psychotic ceiling challenge, and that's what started off the play in the first place. So he's definitely the player we give the headway to go for some funky plays. That certainly was one of them. Gets away with it. Not sure I was as much of a fan. What a demo from Five Fears. Never did I see Guns as a physical threat when he was coming off the ceiling. But it's as if WrestleMania 42's come early. He's gone down off the top rope, wiped him off the face of the earth, and that has been just an open in the 6-yard shot for Five Fears.
And that's all it takes, right? They create their own opportunities. They don't wait for mistakes. They just continue to take chances and create. And they do again. And you're absolutely right in the sense of Onozuma going for those early challenges. When he is playing like that, that means he's playing confidently. That means he's playing like the Onozuma that we want him to play like. So as I say, I'm not knocking it. I want to see more of it. I'm just making the point that against lesser teams, you can do that. It can go wrong, and you won't have it go against you. Onozuma will catch another goal here with somehow 2 players further down the field. No idea how this even started, but round to back level, 2-2.
There was just a demo in the build-up, and that's what opened up the space, and then Onozuma just got that perfect touch to place the ball for himself to get that shot off at the end of it. Again, it's those really fine margins. It's if the ball comes off your car a slightly different way, you're not going to be rewarded with the shot. That demo had happened with half a second already gone, so that teammate was going to respond in due time. So if he didn't do it fast, he would have had an opponent to deal with as well. But now within the 50 seconds, we don't want to concede late yet again in regulation. It's been somewhat of a common theme for round. These opens that these 3 have been together. Tackles off the ceiling. Mussy again not finding the scoop he's looking for. Guns wants 2 touches. That's not the direction he's looking for. This is the one that Onozuma wants though. Guns gets the block, but still Rounds can hold that press. Marzi has the patience to wait for the teammates to get behind him, but Onozuma turned in a position I would not like, but Renshiro had that double padlock in place, and the stress test is passed. Onozuma pops once more. It is 10 more seconds of regulation. Tekos' flip stopped by Renshiro. Renshiro stops the progression of Guns. Snowy looks to restart it. Onozuma doesn't let it happen. It's off that back wall. Tekos, you don't like that touch. You do prefer the one of Guns, however. Five Fears get away with it.
That's the key word. They get away with it. They go right the way down to the wire. An extra couple of seconds. Who knows if that ball goes home? The fact of the matter is, Five Fears play the time and they play it well. Snowy going to have to go back to start recovering this ball. He decides to go over to the other side. There's been a demo onto Marzi. Might not matter. That ball pops high. No, Guns first there. Gets the reset. He's done this so many times where he goes coast to coast. It's not going to happen on this occasion. Snowy, nothing in the tank, so Renshiro steals it from him. Hit away by Tekos. The go-ahead from Guns. Is there a player off the backboard? There is not. And Renshiro plays it off the left-hand side, looking for some help. Doesn't get it. Snowy's clearance. Is that going to dip down? No, it hits the crossbar.
Thought that was game over. Tekos catches the flip reset. Follow-up touch doesn't land his way. Never does the bump on Onozuma. Goes for the fake challenge. Shadows well. Will steal this one off Marzi. Gets it in a much more dangerous position, especially with a double committing Snowy and Tekos. Snowy still able to give just enough time for the teammates. Onozuma doesn't go for the Zen touch. Thought he would. Instead wants that ceiling. Just doesn't catch his wheels on it. And Guns now has a flip of his own, showing Tekos how it's done, who has already attempted a few today. Renshiro 50 with Snowy doesn't land well. I must say, the second half of gameplay has been a bit overzealous from Five Fears. They've had all the chances. They get one here. Onozuma is able to make the save. But that third man at times has been waiting to get exploited. Of course, it doesn't matter if they find the back of the net, but Rounds could catch a counter at any time if they're able to survive.
And that's a big if, because you start to see the resources depleting now. 5 Fears continuing to refill those boost tanks, make Rounds start to feel the suffocation on their own side. Onizuma decides not to go for boost. He wants ball, and he's got it too. Snowy trying to bring it back into Rounds half. Can't do so. Renshiro pops it high. He can't follow through. But there should have been an opportunity there for Rounds to gather some boost, and it does look like they have done. Onizuma now sees Tekos in front of him. Wants the reset. Doesn't use it really. And now Renshiro left-hand side in a similar position to Marzi for some reason. It might work out. Gets the block. Falls to the back post. No one's there to follow through. But the boost steal looking for Renshiro. He can't find it. Angles all off the post. So close to the winner from Rounds.
And 5 Fears able to get it out. Back into the half of Rounds. Renshiro can't send it straight back. Marzi certainly will. Renshiro's up. So he is as well. And just has more resources to take it forward. Onizuma will overlap. Finds himself in this left wing as another fake challenge coming from him. And the second touch doesn't land for 5 Fears. No bump coming out here from Marzi. Would have been nice in that position. And Shiro wants to camp back corner. Not going to go his way. Onizuma doesn't get the desperation touch. So now it's Tekos with a flip reset. That's precarious. Guns still doesn't slip it past those lines. Onizuma's bumped his own teammate. Marzi's been bumped by another man. That's actually helped him.
Yeah, he's been able to recover now and sends the ball long. Guns immediately back from whence it came. Onizuma pops it high, gets bumped by Tekos. Guns wanting the backboard. Marzi denies, but once again that boost steal coming through from 5 Fears. Snowy looking for the pass middle, cleared away by Renshiro. Time to fill those tanks for the Rounds squad. They decide not to. They go ball instead. Sure, that's the right decision in that moment. Guns pops it forwards. Onizuma over the top. He has the boost. He's got the backboard. He needs help. It's off the crossbar. Renshiro can't get there. Rounds with 2 real opportunities in OT to try and get there, but they just can't convert.
Renshiro, another chance. That's not as good. Gun stopped though. Marzi, corner read. The tougher chance finds Onizuma. Just not wide enough on the play. Renshiro will boom it up yet again. There's still a chance. Marzi's local. It's a miss from Snowy. Renshiro and Onizuma are in close quarters. Forced to go back to home quarters. And Guns wants to keep it there. Renshiro doesn't let it happen. Onizuma wants the back pass, but stays too close to the play. And 5 Fears were lurking the danger area.
Guns over the top, hit away by Marzi, who's been really good on those defensive plays, but actually there's a double commit down the side. Snowy doesn't accelerate, brings the ball back. Guns double, is not going to find its home. Marzi trying to bring it through. Great 50 on the left side. He was hoping to have a second man behind him. There wasn't one present. Guns over the top. No resources to make that play work. Tekos looks for the bottom corner. Cleared away by Marzi, moving Rounds out of position. The Puppet Masters at 5 Fears. The bump on the goal line is enough to deal with it for the moment. But look at the resources on Rounds. They're surviving. They're clutching. They're hanging on to something that they believe will continue. And it will.
5 Fears are starting to heat up in this attack. Started off poorly. But now Renshiro has been able to stop the bleeding. That 50-50 will continue the course of action. Marzi off the waterfall finds Onizuma. And the angle's perfect. As is the 5 Fears defense. Time of the game has been doubled. Guns was very close to not getting that touch. Steele finds it towards those safe corners. Still, Marzi will infiltrate the area. Onizuma can't pierce the defense. Snowy been too strong. And now we see Onizuma 100 boosts. I'd like to see him here, but I said I wanted him to go more mechanic against Guns. Guns doesn't even allow the opportunity, so it's Snowy again. Onizuma wants it once more, and you see triple ups here in the corner. It's Guns and 2 Rounds players. Snowy sees Tekos have a near post, and instead goes heavy. There's Guns again. Game is decided. It's the 5th goal in game. It's 5 Fears to take it. Your best of 5 is decided in 3.
But is it? Is it really, Pegasus? Is it really decided in 3? If we're going to be honest, that was 4 games. If we're being real, 6 minutes of overtime in game number 3. Rounds holding 5 Fears to a draw for over 10 minutes. Romeo, I just want to talk. I just want to talk. That's all.
13 shots! 13
Yikes.
shots! Are we seeing that same stat from Guns? That is ridiculous! His teammates had 10 total!
Yeah, he
23 to 9! And Rounds hold on! And if anything, they should have won that game, and that blooming crossbar has a magnet on it. There's voodoo on the pitch, and I'm not talking the owner of Unity. What is going on?
Oh my goodness. Just reminding that clip again of the post as well. Yeah, the fact that Rounds arguably shouldn't have even brought this to OT, but for some Tekos magic on the goal line. I mean, that speaks volumes. That tells you everything you need to know about that series. Rounds looks like the worst team in game number 1. We won't sugarcoat it. But games 2 and 3, right there, alongside 5 Fears, looking like real challenges and making 5 Fears work for every goal, every play, every movement. 5 Fears will go through 3-0. Yeah, whatever. Who's surprised? Rounds have so much momentum to take through now into the 2-1 bracket.
And stats can be a lazy man's game, ladies and gentlemen, and that's one of those series that simply proved it. It wasn't about the shooting statistics. It wasn't even about the series score at the end of it. You just have to watch these games through and through. You got to stick around in the Rounds broadcast to really get a taste of how they're doing on the day, because it's another one of those stories where we played one of those top teams. We played one of the Bro Crows. We played one of the Pioneers. We played one of the 5 Fears, and we made them sweat. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in round 4. Can we finally see the earlier exit for Rounds? This is the best they have ever played in a stage of a competition consistently. Consistency, ladies and gentlemen. It's been the tale of the team. Can our prayers be answered? We'll find out after the break.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now, it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikentällä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Get it while it's hot.
Well, class, what message did I leave you with? Yes, you're all students here in the Rounds UG Twitch chat, and Renshiro, Marzi, and Onizuma are going to be your professors. And that is, Rocket League is more than just a stats. That's why you've got to make sure you're following the stream. You stick around, you follow over Twitter as well, because this was a huge performance from the boys in green. Kept it extremely close, pushed forward in an over 5-minute overtime in that third game, and Five Fears established another with how that last series went. There was a real chance there of an upset if they could just get themselves over the line, but a bit of magic on the crossbar and post, of course, preventing that 4th round yet again. But if that's going to be the only piece of juju we see today, and it's not going to be the round 5 curse, there's going to be a smile on my face. It's still myself, Sir Pegasus. It's still Rhino. Round 4. Could this be the one? It has potential. It's 2-1 brackets.
Why are you even bringing it up, Pegasus? Why are we here in round 4 and you're out here talking about the round 5 curse? Eh? What are you talking about it for? Give it power? No, absolutely not. That doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Don't worry about it. We are in the 2-1 bracket, and what should be happening right now, in theory, is we should be playing a familiar foe in Rising Esports. However, because Punishers have already played Deathcloud, who is who they're meant to play at this particular point, they are not able to play them again in the Swiss stage. So we, as the next highest ranked at this stage, we get to play the Punishers, and Deathcloud will have to play Rising Esports, with Unity playing against Bang Bang Boys 2-1. So that's the situation here in the 2-1s. I'm not even going to talk you through the 1 and 2s, because as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to be playing anyone from them anyway. We're just moving on after this one, as Rounds looking so good against Five Fears, taking them to a 6-minute overtime. Pegasus, a loss against the Punishers after an event like that would feel pretty rough.
It certainly would. Well, let's have a cheeky bit of a look at who is on the Punishers, because they've had a few roster changes as the season has gone on, but now have cemented their roster with 2 South Africans and a Dutchman. It's called Ninja, Shadow, and Marmone rounding off our opponents. You know what Renshiro, Onizuma, and Marzi are capable of. We're starting to see close to the maximum of their current stride today. They've started off on fire. May it continue despite the defeat. But Gold Ninja's been a player who's had a lot of experience in this region, and Marmone is absolutely no slouch as that import option. Back when Benelux was still very much a recurring event, that was one of the players that used to reach for higher lines back then. I used to cast for Gadalians, and we faced him on quite a few occasions. He's brought his efforts over here to SSA and created what at times has looked to be a pretty dangerous roster.
Yeah, I think the key word that you're putting there is at times.
Yes.
Punishers had a pretty good from memory open 1 and open 2, and that led people to kind of sit up and be like, oh, maybe we should be paying attention to these guys. And then they paid attention to them, and they've not really been good since. And I mean, you know, regular top 16 appearances, as you rightly said, these are no slouches whatsoever. However, the problem that they've got at the moment is one of the teams that they have beat to get here is already knocked out in 0 and 3, and the other team that they beat is currently in those 1 and 2. That's IDK. The team that they lost to was Deathcloud Esports, and they did get a game against Deathcloud though. So Punishers having a bit of a back and forth day, but they've just come off the back of 2 quick fire wins. It'll be interesting to see if they're actually able to get over the line and take out a big scalp in round.
And if you look at their last Swiss stage, you can see there's somewhat of Swiss Warriors actually beating Looking For Organization in that round 4 to make their way into the GSL. But now it's Rounds that stand in their way. The gatekeepers of the top 16, a curse to be broken and a Dutchman to be taken down. Will be taking the gold, will escape the shadow. It's time!
Here we go, Rounds with a real qualification chance here in the 2-1 bracket, which would also give them a real chance of qualification later in the GSL. Onizuma showing that he's still just as confident as ever, taking that ball forwards with a good bit of possession. Shot from Renshiro. Punishers already on the back foot after the start of this one.
Over to Marzi. Going for a corner read early. The confidence is high. Close fight of a target, just wide. On Azuma. Looks like an inside pass towards Marzi. I was scared a Punisher's play was going to be able to pounce on it instead of Renshiro. Closes the gap in the midfield. Everyone's able to regroup. Punishers play very high upwards. And Renshiro, there was absolutely no need for that. But he knows he's got a team stream behind him. So he says, screw it. I'll slot this one top corner. Give the boys something to talk about.
Bang! As Rounds open their accounts into series number 4 of the day. Feels like it's gone ridiculously quickly today, I have to say. Credit to everybody getting involved in SSA as the games have been coming thick and fast. Onizuma off the right-hand side. Renshiro with another opportunity! And he's come to play! 2-0 for Round.
My eyes are moist. This is gorgeous. Renshiro, no touches required. Catches it on the volley. Wraps himself round so nicely. And he is just doing it for the chat at the moment. A chat which has been extended thanks to the raid of former teammate of Renshiro, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Former Roundsman himself.
Yeah.
And that should be a few more supporters for a Rounds team that at this time are increasingly worthy of it. Onizuma with the 50 towards the right-hand side. Shadow doesn't get a great touch. Renshiro can't break his way through. So now that is all going to land to Marzi. Lets this one drop. Had 0 boost of a tank, but acted as that dummy to just keep the Punishers penned back. Didn't give them the confidence to step forward too early. And now everyone's back in time and they can throw what they like at them. They can go for all of these bumps and demos attempts, but we just have the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers back on defense and, well, an actual numbers advantage now. 3v2 as the demo comes through. And Marzi doesn't really have the boost in the tank there. Changing his name every game as is sensible, I guess, for Marzi. I'm still waiting for Agent M to come back. That's when we know he's reached his final form. As Marmone dropping this one down, Renshiro going by, but we'll collect it on the second time of asking. That was Onizuma who went by the first time. There's a whiffy on the left-hand side to give Renshiro a run at goal, looking for his hat-trick. Won't find it yet.
Marzi's hungry. Looking to get his feed. Marmone, though, just dodges the chomp. Onizuma wants one for himself. That was Renshiro to drill it low yet again. It's a hat-trick within the first half of Game 1. The skipper showing the team how it's done.
And there is his hat-trick. Took him a little while to get there. Had a couple of extra spots, but didn't really end up happening and until that moment. And we haven't even played half of this game yet, so there's chance for the other two players to get a hat-trick for themselves as well, I reckon. Onizuma dropping it down, playing it over the top. Marzi not able to get there. Marmone plays it over into the corner. Something's happened in chat, I think. As now it's going to be Onizuma to bring it down the right-hand side. Gold Ninja will leave it for Marmone. Marmone trying to bring it forwards, intercepted by Marzi. Where's the second man? Not close enough.
Renshiro takes it on the left-hand side. Wants to hold it close. Gold Ninja gets the forced out block. Shadow will get 100 for himself. Marzi stays tight to the play, though. Demo comes through. And Shadow just booms it across. Here's going to be a self-setup still because Rounds are happier just to sit deep, wait for the ball to be played into them. There's a lot of confidence with the way they've started off this game. The Punishers definitely a step down in opposition, and that's not too much of an insult when that's being compared to 5 Fears. And with that game already being so close to Rounds, another free space to take. Can Rounds continue the way they played against 5 Fears, against Pioneers, against Pro Crocos? Because if they do, they should have an easy time for the rest of the bracket. It's the first time where it actually looks like they're pulling it off.
Yeah, we've kind of given Rounds a little bit of a hard time in the past. Again, more myself and Quantec than you, Pegasus. But we've mentioned before where Rounds often play kind of to the level of their opponents. Renshiro is absolutely not doing that right now. You can tell that right there. As Renshiro off the left-hand side getting the reset, just faking everybody out. Team bump on the goal line. What are we doing here, chaps? That's 4 from Renshiro. But the point I was making was Rounds have often been kind of painted with that brush of they kind of get brought down to the level of their opponents, or brought up in some cases where they play against the top in the region. Today, they have played the rounds way throughout the entirety of the day, which we haven't seen for a little while, and it's refreshing. It's good to see. Whoa. That one deserved to go home. That's unfortunate.
It is, but Shadow will take it high, still looking for a consolation out of this game. Currently, Sheets have stayed clean for rounds. Renshiro pulls off a quick beat. Marmon has that one land for himself. Can see Marzi's coming off that ceiling, so tries to keep the play shallow. Renshiro, though, still had that midfield space covered. Marzi went for the redirect. It was actually on target. Bump lands here from Marmon, and still isn't able to progress the play due to the demo. Rounds have made sure that... Oh, infield pass. Marzi makes the save. I didn't want to curse him there, but I was about to say that they've made sure that anything that Punishers do, Rounds respond with a punch back that's even harder than the one they faced. Doesn't quite prove my point, but here we go. Rounds take the first game of the series in round 4, and that was one-sided.
It was always going the way of Rounds. Now, the important thing to remember from a Rounds persuasion is they need to not get too comfortable. You can't rest on the laurels now. You can't just say, oh, well, this series is done, we're just going to go into free play mode. Get the job done, get it over the line, get the 3-0 victory, move on to Friday's GSL bracket. That's the most important thing. That is the primary objective right now. And I don't want to see a situation where, like, you know, Rounds are like, you know, 2-0 up, for example, and they bring all of their players forwards to try and get that third goal, and they just, for some reason, leave everybody out of defense, and they concede a silly goal that they shouldn't have been able to concede. Want to see that consistency, want to keep them at that top level, want to make sure they're still having fun, but it still needs to get the job done. And if they keep doing what they did in game 1, that's exactly what will happen.
Post-game replay was just a goal compilation for Renshiro there, who scored 4 goals out of 4 for Rounds, and every single goal just had that sprinkle of class behind it. That's how I've always described Renshiro's playstyle. He doesn't have the cockiness of Onizuma, which of course we really like. He has a bit more of a suave, controlled, professional nature. He will beat you down, but he'll make sure to shake hands afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a sportsman, isn't he? He's the quintessential kind of combatant, I guess, in that sense, where he appreciates, you know, he's a student of the game. He knows exactly where his limits are, and he wants to continue to push those limits as far as he can. He's looking for another opportunity. Crossbar. Close to following up us talking about him with the cherry on top. Doesn't happen on this occasion, but more positive signs for Rounds.
Onizuma looked to be beaten in the corner. Neither one getting a touch. Renshiro gets this one out. Back to the youngster, but Gold Ninja steals it away. Marzi's on that back wall, gets a block this time. Will look for the second, does get it. Decides to challenge from underneath the ball instead of above. That allows him to beat one man, gets the pass inside. It's such a clean transition. The Punishers become the punished. Marzi, Renshiro take turns, slapping them down. Round, look for a round 4 exit.
Gotta give credit to the pass there from Marzi. I mean, there's a player right in front of him. He needs to make sure that he doesn't give that player the opportunity to cut the pass out before it makes its way to Renshiro. Does that beautifully. Plays it around the individual. And Renshiro, well, he's pretty much pre-jumped it. It's as good as. And that is going to do us for 1-0. Now Punishers trying to get that goal back quickly. They might actually be able to. Marmon finds the top shelf. That's Punishers' first goal of the series after a quick counter-attack.
It's a nice play from the Punishers. Kept it close, could see that Rounds were sat back. So instead, use that ceiling to their advantage yet again. That second man is just going to be quicker to the mark every single time. First goal of the series actually coming from the Punishers. Took them 6.5 minutes to do so. And I always say that the first goal in the series is the hardest. So potentially the floodgates opening up for the Punishers, especially if they can take this chance. There is a man up and Marzi hasn't reached it. Doesn't get a read. Marmon will make it 2.
Yeah, It's unfortunate here from Monezuma, plays it right into the path of Shadow, and then Renshiro, I just don't know whether just playing on the backboard would have served him a little bit better there. He goes into the goal, he looks awkward as he comes off that post. Not ideal in that moment, but only 2-1 down, only 1 goal to find, and Rounds are going to look to get it back almost immediately. The 50 is there, Renshiro tries to turn, waits on it perfectly. The game sense again from this man. Beautiful work to make sure that he just makes one miss before taking the opportunity. 2-2.
That is the most cocky turn from Renshiro. He goes so wide to face the ball and then still just keeps himself slow so the Punishers can have time to do that jump towards the sidewall. I love it. But back down to Marzi. Oh, goes dangerously down to Shadow. Onizuma is called to action. Gold Ninja gonna have to sell to Silver in that race. Onizuma's beating him clear. Off the ceiling. Has Renshiro. Goes for the pass instead of a shot. It's another hat-trick for Renshiro. But credit has to lie in the playmakers. The Reunion A feed the main man himself.
Seeing it's just so beautiful in chat, I could not agree more. What play. Lovely work from Onizuma. You see him take it off that right-hand side, and I think even open 4 on Onizuma, but certainly split 1 on Onizuma, would just take that on his own. He'd go for the solo play. I mean, he'd probably be relatively close to hitting it. We know, we've seen him make those kinds of plays before. But the wherewithal to look down, see Renshiro's in a really good position for him, and just decide to pass it down to the captain and utilize the resources that he has available to him. Beautiful work. And the progression from this player is otherworldly. And Rounds are back ahead, 3-2.
Well, we've heard of the have fun meta over here on the Round stream. We might have to add another one. Feed for Finn. That's what it's been in these 2 games so far. Onizuma and Marzi have used their mechanics more as an assistance measure. Chance for Onizuma to do that here because Renshiro right on his right-hand side. This time goes alone. He's off the post. And he's still able to stay involved. Somehow the trajectory just lands his way. No boost required. Completely calculated.
I mean, we got to talk about that flip, haven't we, to catch up with the ball. Absolutely gorgeous. And I mentioned earlier, Onizuma often would have taken those solo plays earlier in his RLCS career. He still does, folks. He still does. He still makes sure that he gives us a show when he gets the opportunity. And he might actually get another opportunity here. And just going to take that boost in the midfield. Will get up in the corner. He's got to pass down if he wants it. It's not powerful enough. Gets bumped off. Will be punished to try and bring it back through. But it's not going to happen for them. Stolen by Renshiro. Marzi realized he didn't have the boost, so didn't really make a play for that. Now Renshiro and Marzi trying to figure out between them whose ball this is. Turns out it's neither of them. Angles hits the post.
My goodness.
Round survive.
And the Punishers will be kicking themselves at that. One didn't find it. That would have been one not only for the game, but for the Twitter as well. If the angle was discovered. Shadow. No angles when you got Renshiro blocking your lines. Marmone. Forward. Goes for the fake. Marzi is completely wrong-footed. And on his descent down, thought his play was done. And another touch to add. It's another goal for Rounds. But that one is going to be chalked up on the orange side.
Oh, Marzi. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Just a moment of madness from the young'un. Doesn't matter too much in the context of the game as long as these 45 seconds go without incident. Ball off that right-hand side. Renshiro wants another one. He's not going to be able to find the angle. Just a little bit too quick. Cleared away down the side. In front to Rounds player, but Gold Ninja gets the demo. Now Shadow. No boost in the tank. Renshiro easily able to pick him off. Looking to drive that ball home into the bottom corner. Able to really get there, but what a catch from Onizuma. Keeping possession into the middle. It's like poetry in motion. You just can't get the finish on that one.
Back to Shadow. Booms across, still a chance for the Punishers to force this one into OT. Got Ninja, helps the job, keeps it low. Onazuma's 50, goes out wide. Ranchiro's got full boost. Onazuma's tight, and it will just land straight down. The read, the speed just wasn't there. Round certainly was on their way for a sweeping exit. But there is still more work to be done. As much as the first goal is the hardest for the team to pick up, the last win is the toughest in that category.
It certainly is, but I mean, I can't talk highly enough of the round's performance that we've seen today, Pegasus. Certainly to this point. I don't want to say anything of that might cause problems going into game number 3. But a 3-1, a 3-0, losing 3-0, but with a 6-minute OT to 5 beers. And then if we do take home this final game, a 3-0 against Punishers. It's the perfect day, really, for rounds right now. And it's based on the fact that all 3 players are playing pretty much as good as we've ever seen.
And when that Just Saying episode is launched up, I better see some predictions a bit more favourable in the round's persuasion, because they have more than deserved it with this improvement. I'd go as far to say, in terms of players that have stuck together in one team, so not including the roster change being made, Rounds is probably the team that is most on the upswing that I have seen in the world now. I haven't seen a team make this many improvements every single open without a roster change. So huge shout out to coaches Groslope and Spooky, but of course the players themselves, because they've been working hard, but job still not finished today. They've got one more to pick up in this series, potentially a whole nother series, but let's not talk that into existence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen Spooky say in chat, nice to see the casters be able to smile for once. I have not smiled for an SSA Sunday in a long time, bro. It's good to be here, man. It really is. Onazuma off the left-hand side. Won't get too much to go there. So Marmone to bring it away. Marzi's up super quickly over to the right-hand side. Onazuma looking for the pass. Renshiro, top left corner. 1-0.
Renshiro with VC after this, and I'm singing to you because you deserve it right now. This gameplay is serenading enough. I've just got to return the favor. 1 goal for Rounds. Punishers need to try and pull off a reverse sweep, but their opponents are fully loaded. Hashtag load the rounds, ladies and gentlemen.
Gold Ninja takes this one off the right-hand side, looking for the teammate. Oh my goodness. I would say that's a 50-50, but actually I think it's a 50-50-50. 3 players going for that ball and missing it. Marzi sending it over to the left-hand side, following through, getting a 50. Onazuma leaves it for Renshiro, who was just sitting in that back corner, trying to wait for the boost to come his way. It never did. Now he's looking for a demo that doesn't happen either, but Onazuma gets a good block there. Resources to collect for Rounds. Nice redirect over on this near side, but Marzi now will try and bring this one back long. Gold Ninja plays it off the ceiling. Chance for the double! Oh. That's Marmone! And that is what he can do.
You can see that as the first touch was coming in, but he had landed that one perfectly. Plants it on that back wall. Doesn't even have to really shift his position at all to get the second touch. That's the perfect double tap. That's what they'll teach you in every single tutorial. That's how you take it to the next level. Renshiro needs to respond back. Sees Onazuma on the left, Marmone on the reverse, able to get the block, and it's going to be a huge job here for the rest of the team to return to base. Onazuma manages. Renshiro steals it away. Still waiting to see if Marzi can get a bit of a touch off the play. Renshiro won't let it happen with a quick turn yet again. The high ball, though, eventually allows Marzi to have a contribution. Onazuma touches go high. I thought that one was going to stay low. I see the Punisher's defense. Onazuma again with a cut-in rotation. They're not scared to do it with how they're playing today. The Punishers are giving them too much space.
They are, and those turns from Onazuma have been lethal right the way throughout the time he's been with Rounds. Just the way he's effortlessly able to turn on the ball, spot the gap as well. It's not just a turn because he gets the feeling. It's a turn because he sees that there's an opportunity. He sees that his opposition aren't going for that ball for whatever reason. And he just gets it. He has that game sense to know, yep, I can turn on this ball, not get challenged on the sidewall, and have a play at goal. It's exactly what he does. It's beautiful to watch. Just under half the game still to play. Gold Ninja down the right-hand side. Has a lot of boost to work with as well, but Onizuma does just as well to get it away. Marmone pops it high. The danger man for the Punishers really gets an extra touch. Cleared away by Renshiro. Double commit on the goal line. Onizuma's cleanup.
Itamazi has to get that 50 across still. The winning goal required from either team in this third game. Whether that's going to be a series extender or ender, yet to be shown. There is a demo on that third band. Will respawn in time, but Marmone has been thrown straight into the thick of the action. The 100 boost spawns for him. Shadow's not going to land that redirect, and Shiro notices that's going to be the case and still gets that block, gets a bit extra as well, extends into that final third. Marmone's challenged by Onizuma. Gold Ninja cannot turn quick enough, so plays for Marzi's touch. Shadow wants to intercept yet again. But these plans, which are so good on paper for the Punishers, are just being ripped apart by Rounds.
Yeah, Punisher's starting to pick up the pace a little bit, and Rounds just trying to adjust to that change. They're doing a good job of it so far. A couple of moments like that one, which are not ideal. Marzi should really have had that one 10 times out of 10, but the one that he misses, there is cover, and actually the shot wasn't on target, luckily. Renshiro will get up first, off the backboard, wants a second, gets a block off. Pass middle from Marzi. Onizuma's not in position to retrieve that ball, so he'll now go back towards his own half. The pinch high is going to find its way right to Shadow. And now Onizuma once again just trying to catch it, make it work for the possession of Rounds. It's not going to happen on this occasion. Shadow inside, might not matter. Renshiro just into the top shell, spots the gap. And with 30 seconds left, it's Rounds 2-1 up.
4 boosts. But what's the point? All you need is one touch. What a slammer. 29 seconds to just maintain this lead. And it's going to be a very confident exit on Onizuma. Stopped by Shadow. Not going to be able to double up with the kickoff. It's all Marmone with a high boost. And Shiro is high placed. Will get that block on Ninja. Still has Marmone right behind him. And Onizuma has the whole pitch in front of him. His playground. Renshiro. Shot Onizuma with the steal. He gets there in the end. That's the third goal. That's surely the third game as well.
I saw this one going. You know what? Marmone probably was just about going to get across to that. So it was important for Onizuma to get the extra touch. I wasn't sure whether that would be the case, but it certainly was. Great work from Onizuma to just get the goal secure. And now Marzi backboard, doesn't really matter with the clock ticking down. As soon as 0 is hit, there it is. The result is locked in. The round 5 curse is over, Pegasus. We are free. And it is now Rounds going through 3-1.
It just feels like the cork has been open for this team. We see them finally get some good seeding. They had to really grind their way into top 8 in that last open. And we said it again and again and again today, especially in the earlier series, but they have to make the most of it. They have to make that seeding worth something, and they did. In those first 2 rounds where it's all due to the seeding, they get themselves a win in both. Sure, they have to play 5 fears, but then they have earned the right to get the stronger BU. It puts them against the Punishers, who have had a bit of an easy run into this round. And, well, that is exactly what a BU has come here to prove. And they have taken full advantage of it. But this is a lot more than just seeding that we're seeing, Rhino. We can see a clear difference on the pitch. All the players, the coaches as well, have been hard at work. The organisation is so fluid right now. And if this can continue into the top 16, where we should now have a very, very good seeding yet again to keep us going with a round 4 qualification, top 8 could be on the horizon yet again. We might never have to do a double elimination stream again.
Never, hopefully. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way we're looking at the seeding right now is we're looking to be seeded 4th in this Group A, which should then, in theory, mean that we should be able to get a more favourable matchup going into next week. Absolutely, Pegasus, you are right in what you're saying there. And But I think even with a weaker seeding, I think the way this rounds team is playing right now, I think they would still be confident in making that top 8. As long as there's not a freak crazy result like last time where Pioneers are for some reason in the lower bracket, I'm actually seeing a top 6 in the future of this rounds team if they continue the way they are. I truly believe.
Why are we talking about a lower bracket? Oh, we're talking about a lower bracket at all. I'm liking the way rounds are looking at the moment. These groups could line up nicely and rounds could have that early top 6 exit, but this is all speculatory. What it isn't is the confidence that this team has been able to pick up, and of course the improved experience that Renshiro has been able to have in this second split. We've spoken a lot about the project and what that means to this team. Well, it meant enough 2 rounds that they actually, with some help of a few sponsors that will be mentioned, they have shipped Renshiro off to Cape Town. He's playing on low ping. He's not having to play from Finland, which is actually one of the worst nations to have to play Sub-Saharan Rocket League from, by the way. Spain even have an advantage over the Finns when it comes to that regard. And it means a lot to him. You can see the clear differences on the pitch, but we want to hear it from the man himself realistically. So, producer Hazza, what a joy you've been today. Can you roll the tape for me?
Tosiaan Rensro täällä ja ollaan nyt tosiaan täällä Helsinki-Vantaan lentokentällä ja odottelen just ekkaa lentoa. Vähän reilun tunnin päästä pitäisi olla, se on ehkä jopa vähän myöhässä. Niin eka lento tonne Lontoon Heathrowin ja sitten siellä on vajaan parin tunnin vaihto ja sieltä sitten tulee pitkä yölento tonne Cape Towniin. Ihan siisti kyllä näitä Cape Town-projektia nyt tuottaa. Pääsee oikeasti näkemään, että mihin me niinku pystytään tuolla meidän rounds lineupille. No siihen näet kuitenkin vedin melkein 200 pingillä ekan splitin, niin se, että oltiin ainakin main eventissä joka kerta, niin se on ihan hyvä. Mutta sit kyllä jäi hampaan kolo sille, että voisi mennä paljon pidemmällekin, niin nyt päästään sitten näkemään. Oni ja Marsi on myös paljon grindannut hyvin, joten tässä on hyvä potentiaali. Scrimit näyttää ihan lupaavilta. Ollaan tekemässä tätä just sen takia, että yksinkertaisesti Suomesta on vaan liian iso pingi. Että mulla on semmoinen 185 ollut joka kerta, kun pelaa tuolla South Africassa, niin se ei ole mitenkään optimaali. Siinä pitää periaatteessa sitä voi ajatella silleen, että mun pitäisi olla semmoinen 180 millisekuntia koko ajan muita edellä pelissä. Ja sit kun pelaat senkin alueen parhaita vastaan, niin aika vaikeatahan se on hyviä tiimejä vastaan. Niin sit nyt kun mennään tuonne Cape Towniin, missä toi peliserveri on, niin siitä lähtee se ongelma pois, että joutuu pelaamaan sillä viiveellä ja sit pystyy paljon helpommin maksimoimaan ton oman suorituksen, jota ihan mielenkiinnolla odotan. Ja iso kiitos F9 ja Lenovolle ton peliläppärin lainaamisesta tälle reissulle, niin se auttaa kyllä huomattavasti, että pöytäkoneen vienti olisi ollut todella paljon vaikeampaa, joten tää on aika kiva. Kerkisin tuossa pari päivää testaa, 1 scrimitkin veli ton läppärille, niin tää on tehokkaampi kuin mun pöytäkone, että se on ihan semi-humbling. Ihan siisti olla tämmönen uusi ja tehokas Lenovon läppäri lainassa, niin pääsee sitten maksimoimaan myös setupin puolelta niin suorituksen. Joo, mielenkiinnolla odotan reissua, siis tää on ihan siisti homma. Joo, nähdään kuvaillaan myöhemmin.
High FPS, low ping, what more can you really ask for? Renshiro in such a happy spot right now. They've had the have fun meta as well, and it's so easy to have fun when you're getting performances like this and you're with as wonderful of an organisation as Rounds is as well. And we've been able to see that firsthand. We've managed to have plenty of conversations with, of course, the players, the CEO, with Finca as well, who I know is always here in chat and manages a lot of the social media for them as well. It's truly a well-oiled machine, and that is a breath of fresh air in what is the Wild West of esports.
Oh, yeah, you are not wrong. Trying to find organizations and even individuals who want to do things the right way in esports is really challenging, actually. And the whole landscape of esports organizations and managers, all that kind of stuff is it's a minefield. It's really tough to navigate, and the way that Rounds are working with their talent, the way that they're working with their managers and their coaches, you're absolutely right. There's no other way to describe it. It's a breath of fresh air in the esports scene. More organizations should look at the way that Rounds is being run and take lessons, because clearly they are doing something right, and it shows in the way that they are able to consistently develop talent and consistently make strides forwards in the way that you see their results happen. It happened in APAC, and now it's happening in SSA as well, and we're so thrilled that it is.
And I'm looking at here at the Swiss stage. Good to see that Unity have been able to step up after that really unfortunate open they had to start off the split. They didn't even make it to the Swiss stage. I believe had to use a substitute. Now, with the strength of the full roster, able to qualify through the 2-on-1 bracket alongside ourselves and DeathCloud. That truly is good company to be on the level of. Of course, we'll be looking to try and break into those higher brackets later down the line. I do unfortunately see that Midwest Mafia do end up getting eliminated. Had to play Ben, so that is neutral for our BU score, but we are going to be guaranteed a -2 from Midwest Mafia specifically. So if you are looking at the seeding heading into the GSL, it is going to be that team, Ben, that you would need to qualify in that round 5. That would give you a +1 to make up for the -2 that Midwest Mafia are going to have. But that's all the intricacies of the seeding system, where ultimately you just have to beat the team ahead of you, Rhino. Yeah. And at the moment, Rounds look like a team that can do that to basically anyone at this point. And I'd go as far to say literally anyone.
Yeah, I think so as well. The result that they were able to get against Pioneers, where they got a game in a best-of-7, that is not to be understated. That's the only game that Pioneers lost in Championship weekend against anyone that wasn't 5 feared. They pushed them to their limits. They made sure to make that game close. They looked really good. The game against 5 fears. Yes, 5 fears lost the game against Rising Esports earlier in the day. However, taking them to a 6-minute overtime, as far as I'm concerned, is as good as getting a win. You're right there with them. The games were super, super close. Rounds made that happen. So I think you're absolutely right, Pegasus. I think it's only a matter of time before this Rounds roster firmly believe that they can beat anybody in the region on their day. And you don't hear Renshiro say the caveat of, if it's not 5 fears or if it's not Pioneers. That's not going to be happening very soon. Soon this unit's team will believe they are the best here.
There are whispers now, there are rumbles in the SSA scene that Rounds is rising up, and if you want to be one of the OGs, if you want to say you were there first, this is where you make sure you are following Rounds in the Twitch channel, you are following Rounds on the Twitter as well, to make sure you can keep up to date as much as possible, because this is going to be an organization name that's going to be a lot more prevalent in the SSA scene moving forward. But as for us today, over here at RDR Prod, that's myself, Rhino, Hazard. Unfortunately, Quantec couldn't make it here today, but I'm sure we'll see him later down the line. It has been an absolute pleasure. Job is not finished. We'll see you all next week on Friday Load the Rounds.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikentällä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Feel this time choke my neck and I just wonder why I'm buried in a suit I'd never buy, a suit I'd never buy. Cufflinks on my wrist, I can't act surprised when the shovels hit dirt in the earth. Did they start to cry? Since I'm 17, I've been looking for a place to make me be complete. I've been looking all alone out there for anything to make me feel alive. Bring me back to life. Cufflinks on my wrist, I can't act surprised when the shovels hit dirt in the earth. Did they start to cry? Since I'm 17, I've been looking for a place to make me be complete. I've been looking all alone out there for anything to make me feel alive. Bring me back to life.
Falling away as I'm searching for the break of a day to follow away to you. 'Cause at the end of the day, I ain't looking for no reason to change. 'Cause everything is good for you. Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night so we can see the end inside. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. When I look into your eyes, I can see no better light, better light than love. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night.